Good evening, everyone. If we can get to your seats so we can get started, please. We will now reconvene for the evening session of the Budget Review Committee meeting of Monday, May 4th, 2026. Natalie, please call the roll.
Council President LaCava. Committee Member Campbell. Committee Member Whitburn.
Here.
Committee Member Von Wilpert.
Present.
Council President Pro Tem Lee.
Here.
Committee Member Campillo. Committee Member Moreno. Committee Member Ela Rivera. And Chair, Committee Member Foster.
Here.
Chair.
A quorum is now present. Before proceeding with public comment, I want to start by thanking, one moment, please. Excuse me for that. Before proceeding with public comment, I want to start by thanking everyone from the public here and online for taking part in public comment on the fiscal year 2027 proposed budget this evening. This is another challenging year financially for the city of San Diego. It is the second consecutive year that the city has faced a significant projected deficit. As indicated by the FY27 proposed budget by the mayor, the independent budget analyst review of the FY27 proposed budget, significant reductions are needed to structurally balance the budget and address a projected $118 million shortfall for FY27. This evening's sub-item, public comment on the FY27 proposed budget, is an important part of the proposed budget process and is an opportunity for the public to weigh in on the conversation. And I truly appreciate the public's feedback and indication of priorities as it helps shape the final budget and is helpful to hear your priorities. Given the importance of the conversation, I do want to ask for the public's help to ensure that tonight's hearing runs smoothly. Please do not applaud during public comment. If you want to show support for what is being said, please show your hands or wave your hands, as this helps with meeting efficiency and allows our council administration to effectively call on the next speakers to provide their comments. Please take note that the next 6 p.m. meeting for public input on the FY27 proposed budget, including the May revise, will be Monday, May 18th, 2026. The initial council vote on the FY27 proposed budget will take place on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. With that, thank you again to all those present here and online for their participation. We will now continue to take up our information agenda, starting with sub-item D, public comment on the FY27 draft budget. Natalie, please proceed with sub-item D, public comment on the FY27 draft budget.
Thank you, Chair. Before I begin with public comment, Councilmember Von Wilpert, can you please give your virtual declaration?
Yes, thank you. I am notifying the review committee that I will be attending the meeting today remotely due to just cause related to his family caregiving needs. Pursuant to the Brown Act, I'm disclosing there are no individuals 18 years or older present in the room with me, and I will update that disclosure if it's in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. The public comment period for sub-item D, public comment on fiscal year 2027 draft budget, is now open. Each speaker will have 1 minute, and if you're watching online on City TV or the live stream online and would like to call into the meeting to speak, please call 1-669-254-5252. When prompted, the webinar ID is 160-332-6900#. And we've received approximately 125 slips from individuals here in chambers, and there are 13 hands in the virtual queue. We will begin with those in chambers. When I call your name, please come up to the reserved front row, and that will help with better meeting management. So this first group will be Javier Amador, Andrew Hollingworth, and Andrew, you've been seated time by D. Brown. Can you please raise your hand? Thank you. Connor and Pat Wilson. And Pat Wilson, you've been seated time by Jenny. Jenny, thank you. So we will begin with Javier Amador. If you could please approach the lectern, you'll have 1 minute to speak to sub-item D.
Yes, hello. I'm here to address the proposal of closing and reducing hours for certain recreation centers in the draft 2027 budget. As you all know, rec centers provide education opportunities, summer camp opportunities, and most importantly, varied low-cost activities, including art and dance activities for San Diego residents. San Diego Civic Dance Arts on a monthly basis offers between 3,000 to 4,000 class hours throughout San Diego rec centers today to San Diego residents. The closing of just one rec center, Hilltop Community Rec Center, for example, would disrupt dance classes activities for 109 youth. Imagine how many more youth are affected for other activities I haven't mentioned. I have heard this city council mention how important equity is to them. What about the equity for access to low-cost activities for all the youth of San Diego? I encourage you all to keep asking the hard questions and cut true inefficiencies in the city budget, but don't do it on the backs of San Diego youth and the recreation opportunities that they deserve.
Thank you. Andrew Hollingworth, please approach the lectern. You'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm Andrew Hollingworth. I'm representing the Peninsula Community Planning Board of Point Loma. Due to the PCBB opposes the 2027 draft budget as written. Due to recently hired, highly paid employees and the overall high cost of city salaries and benefits, we are concerned about the final budget since millions of new funding from trash fees, parking, and other fee increases still require so many severe cuts to libraries, the arts, parks and recreation, and youth programs, and we suggest additional city personnel savings be found to reduce the pain. San Diego's continue to struggle with a rising cost of living due to high housing, utility, grocery, transportation, and healthcare costs that have substantially stressed household budgets. This was exacerbated by recently imposed parking and trash collection fees that are included in the budget. PCPB believes the steadily increasing cost of city government should be borne not solely on the backs of taxpayers, but be borne equitably between city staff and residents. The city can take further steps to address the structural budget deficit and restore fiscal sustainability, including, and what we recommend, review all city wages, overtime, and fringe benefits, including pensions, to reduce compensation to more sustainable levels. And also to conduct more fiscally sustainable labor negotiations, which are currently going on. Mayor Gori has taken some budget steps to reduce some high-cost middle management compensation and discretionary city programs, but he must go further. We suggest a partial restoration of some arts, culture, parks and recreation, youth programs to be funded from further city staff compensation and benefit reductions. You should not impose further tax and fee increases on an already overburdened citizenry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Connor?
Hi, I'm Connor Green. I live in Alley Gardens neighborhood in District 7. I'm here to ask you to fund the libraries, fund the parks and the recreation centers, and to not cut funding for the arts. My daughter goes to junior theater classes. She has severe social anxiety, and that's one place she feels like she can really be herself and make friends. And we go to the library every Wednesday. My son loves the Lego Day at Benjamin Library. We go to our parks all the time. And the Grantville playground could use some updating, by the way. And I think somebody said earlier, you should look for somewhere that we can cut the budget, maybe something that's never, ever been cut. Even when 6 years ago, you had hundreds of people asking you to cut the San Diego police budget, you never did. And there's a new $4 million flock program that leaks information to Border Patrol and was sold to you by somebody who's now who was a captain of police and is now works for Flock. So maybe we look there.
Thank you. Pat Wilson, and after Pat Wilson will be Lo Horst, Eden James, Esme Quintero, and Jade Cloud. If you can please make your way to the front of the room.
Pat Wilson, President, Friends of the San Diego Public Library. I'll start tonight by saying thank you for holding these public hearings. It can't be easy sitting up there and hearing all the people share their stories and needs, knowing there's just not enough money to go around. So thanks for your attention and thanks for your efforts to build the best budget you can in these times. That said, a budget is a moral statement, a vision of where we want our city to be next year and moving forward. I think we can all agree on that, and that we want all San Diegans to live their best lives. This is where neighborhood services come in. Libraries, parks, and the arts are essential infrastructure for living good lives. People who have spaces to recreate, relax, build community, entertain, and be entertained are much less likely to take out their feelings in antisocial and unlawful ways. Every community needs a library. Every community needs a park. These things build safety. These things allow people to build good lives for themselves. I'll speak in detail about the horrendous cuts to the library's budget tomorrow, but let me share a few quotes from library supporters tonight. Libraries give information for free to the public. Libraries are the only place that anyone inside without any demand to buy. North Claremont is within walking distance for poor kids. The parking lot and the library are always busy. It gives internet and air conditioning for many who do not have them at home. We need this branch. I'm running out of time. We need our libraries. We need them open 7 days a week. We certainly don't need cuts to an already too small budget. You've asked for us to propose reductions for any cuts we'd like to mitigate. Here's mine. Take the $15 million that is being added to the police department and give it instead to mitigate cuts to libraries, parks, and the arts. Build a better San Diego starting
Thank you.
today.
Thank you. Lowe Horst, Lowe? Is Lowe here? Okay, we can come back to Lowe. Eden James, please approach the lectern. You'll be followed by Esme Quintero, Jade Cloud, Jacob Duarte, and Karina Pugh. If you could please make your way to the reserved seats. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. I'm a resident of District 7. I am here to ask the council to reject the mayor's proposed budget and fund our services, arts, and culture. The city is facing a crisis that I and countless other low-income San Diegans should not be forced to carry the brunt of. Please invest in the arts, our libraries, and youth services by redistributing 2% of the police budget. We must invest in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Esme?
Howdy, council members. My name is Esme Quintero. I'm a resident of D3, and I'm here to request that the city council reject the mayor's proposed budget. I'm a working low-income trans professional who works directly in the arts and culture sector, and unfortunately, the mayor's cuts directly impact my livelihood and the ability for me and people like me to stay, live, and work in San Diego. I also want my city to prioritize preventing crime and not just reacting to it. So Whitburn and council, please consider eliminating the $2 million flock contract and reinvesting 2% of the city's police budget into community. Thank you.
Thank you. Jade Cloud?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jade, and I am a resident of Council 7. I'm here to ask that you reject the mayor's proposed cuts for the Office of Youth and Child Success, as well as the Arts and Culture Commission. This funding is necessary to empower young and adult-age queer and trans San Diegans. Please adopt a budget for a city that keeps it livable for the working class and disenfranchised. I urge the council to consider a 2% or more cut to the police budget and reinvest in our community, as well as cancel the flock contract.
Thank you. Jacob Duarte, please approach the lectern. You've been seated time by Oliver Martins. If you can raise your hand, Oliver. Oh, thank you. And okay, so you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening, council. My name is Jacob Duarte, and I live in District 8. I'm a community organizer for the San Diego LGBT Community Center and a young man who loves his city. But I love my city enough to tell it the truth. And the truth is that this budget does not love us back. Budgets are not just numbers. They are priorities, they are choices, and they are a reflection of who we are and who are we willing to leave behind. So let's be clear about the cuts. Arts and culture cut by 85%. Libraries reduced by $6 million. And the entire Office of Childhood, Youth, and Success eliminated to save only $800,000. When Washington, D.C. fails us, local government steps in to secure us. Security is not defined by what we say, it's defined by who we choose to protect. Local investment is not a luxury. It is how safety becomes real, and I know it is how people know they belong. And right now, too many people are being told through this budget that they do not. The center believes people belong through our services. Opioid settlement funds are keeping hundreds of people in recovery today If those funds are cut or redirected, the most vulnerable among us will face the consequences. Right now, across the country, LGBT people are watching protections disappear, protections that took decades of organizing, courage, and sacrifice to build. And my community is already under pressure from the Trump administration, from policies that make people feel less safe. The city of San Diego cannot be another pressure point. It is a place of stability, a place that stands in the gap when others will not. So tonight I ask you directly, keep opioid settlement funds with the people who need treatment and a real chance at life. Restore arts and culture funding to the communities that rely on it to survive, and stay connected. Because this is not a math problem, this is a moral test. It is a test whether the city will live up to its values. The people of the city are watching, everyone in this room, everyone at home who is streaming. In years from now, the question will be not what was difficult, the question will be what you chose. So please choose a budget that reflects who we say we are.
Thank you. Karina Pugh. Karina, please approach the lectern. You've been seated time by Clay. If you could raise your hand, and then you'll be followed by David Vance, Brock Cavett, and Rick Arlo. So you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening, council members. My name is Karina Pugh. My pronouns are she, her, and I am here on behalf of the San Diego LGBT Community Center to request a reallocation of $300,000 of opioid settlement funds to support the center's substance use disorder treatment services. The LGBTQ plus community experiences substance use disorder at a much higher rate than our cisgender heterosexual counterparts, yet our community has minimal access to culturally competent care that is affirming of our lived experiences. The center is one of the few channels through which folks can access LGBTQ affirming services, including these substance use disorder treatment services. In the past year alone, these services have been accessed over 600 times, supporting over 200 community members in their journey to recovery. These services have helped folks remain healthy and housed and are essential to our community. We cannot afford to lose these already rare and difficult to find services. As the federal government continues to slash funding to LGBTQ specific services, particularly those supporting our trans and non-binary community, we as San Diegans call upon our city leaders, all of you, to lead boldly with investments that protect and support our most vulnerable populations, particularly with this $300,000 investment. Additionally, we request that the city restore full funding to arts and culture, libraries and parks, and the Office of Child and Youth Success. Arts and culture are a lifeline for our LGBTQ plus community. Libraries, parks, and OCYS are critical investments in our youth, especially our underserved youth, many of whom are LGBTQ plus. We cannot claim to serve our communities without providing everyone the opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. David Vance.
Good evening. My name is David Vance. I'm here on behalf of the San Diego LGBT Community Center to request a reallocation of $300,000 of opioid settlement funds to support the center's substance use disorder treatment services. The LGBTQ community is disproportionately impacted by substance use disorder, and these impacts are only being exacerbated further as the federal government continues to target the LGBTQ community, particularly transgender and non-binary youth. LGBTQ organizations like the Center are the experts on serving the LGBTQ community, providing culturally competent and affirming care through a whole person model, ensuring that each person, regardless of gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other status, is treated with the care and understanding that they deserve. In the past year alone, the Center's substance use disorder services have been accessed over 600 times, supporting over 200 community members in their journey to recovery. In this critical moment for the LGBTQ community, we call upon our city electeds to lead boldly with investments that protect the most vulnerable among us, like this $300,000 investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Brock Cavett.
Good evening. My name is Brock Cavett, a resident of District 6 who works in District 3, and I serve as the Director of Advocacy and Programs for San Diego Pride. As the council navigates difficult budget decisions, I urge you to restore funding for arts and culture grants, as well as for libraries, parks, and youth programs. You've heard about our $27 million economic impact of our festival and parade, but I want to highlight what this funding makes possible year-round. City grants help cover key festival expenses, particularly artist compensation, supporting a majority of local and BIPOC talent. This structure allows revenue generated during the festival to sustain our year-round programming. That includes initiatives like our Art of Pride program, youth-focused efforts such as our Youth Leadership Academy and Queer Youth Art Show, as well as our military program supporting LGBT service members and veterans, especially critical at a time when trans service members are being forced out of the military without access to resources. Additionally, our Capi Meta and Latin A Pride programs center and uplift queer communities of color. Without city funding, these programs are at serious risk and underscores that organizations impacted have far more at stake than the anchor events they're known for. Thank you.
Thank you. Rick Arlo, please approach the lectern and you'll be followed by Keishalyn Elliott, Maria Cortez, Petros Hagos, and Charlie Lopomardo. Is Rick Arlo here? Rick Arlo Lira? We'll come back to you. Keishalyn Elliott, please approach the lectern.
Good afternoon, council and community members. My name is Keishalyn Elliott, and I'm speaking today not only as the executive director for San Diego Pride in District 3, but also as an artist. For the past 14 years, I've grown up through art here in this city. I lead through an artistic lens, and I want to be clear that arts funding is not optional infrastructure. It is not a nice to have, nor is it a luxury. Art serves an essential role to how our city functions, connects, and heals. The proposed elimination of $12 million in arts and culture funding will disrupt an already delicate ecosystem. This removes opportunity from local artists and weakens community spaces. And for San Diego Pride, it creates an immediate and significant shortfall that threatens both Pride Week and the year-round programs that serve the city, which you've just heard about. Pride is powered by artists, local, diverse, working artists whose talent drives both cultural impact and economic return. I urge you to restore this funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Cortez?
Hi, good evening, Council President and council members. My name is Maria Cortez. I live in the District 9, City Heights, and I am here with the City Heights CDC. Each year we advocate for people's budget on the priorities, communities with the greatest needs. Unfortunately, the mayor's proposed budget moves us in the opposite direction. And so I am here on behalf of saving our libraries, our parks, because this is what we need. This is what our youth need. And I'm talking for everybody, especially in City Heights, but everybody, because without those libraries and without the parks and recs, where will our kids be? But what are they going to be doing? This is what we need. We need our libraries to be saved. We need our parks to be saved because these are safe environments for our kids, our youth, not only the kids and the youth, but also us elderly. We love to go there. This is where we get to enjoy things. And this is where the community gets to also meet in the libraries and the parks. Thank you.
Thank you. Petros, please approach the lectern. You'll be followed by Charlie, Eric Anderson, Patricia Mondragon, then a group presentation by Community Budget Alliance.
Good evening, council members. My name is Petros Hagos. I grew up in District 9 and also work there with City High CDC, and I'm also part of the Community Budget Alliance. Every year we advocate for people's budget that prioritizes the neighborhood with the greatest needs, but this proposal falls short. The mayor says this budget protects essential services. In our community, safe routes to schools are essential. That's why the mayor cutting the multi-model team is a devastating setback to pedestrian safety. Do we forget about Vision Zero? How many kids have to get hit and killed unnecessarily? Near Rosa Park Elementary families are relying on volunteers to help children cross the street safely. For just $40,000, the city can install a pedestrian beacon in that area. Our children should not have to take safety into their own hands just to get to school. I urge the city council to fund this improvement, also prioritize investment that helps keeps our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Charlie?
Good evening, council members. Thank you for your work. My name is Charlie Lopomardo. I am known professionally as Sparkle. I am a performer and entrepreneur. My pronouns are they, them, and I live near the border of Districts 3 and 8. I am missing chorus rehearsal to be here tonight to advocate for the restoration of arts and culture funding that has been all but eliminated in Mayor Gloria's proposed budget. I immigrated to San Diego from Massachusetts 3 years ago because the city's support for arts made it the perfect place to start my business. As a professional artist fighting to make a living here in San Diego, I know that money is tight everywhere and you need to account for a considerable deficit. Where we spend money reflects our values, and the strong mayor's budget indicates they value policing over peace. Education, arts, and culture have long been the measure of a civilized society. Investment in arts seeds the thriving culture that makes San Diego home. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Anderson?
Okay, ready? My name is Eric. I live in District 9. I'm a member of DSA and the Trust Coalition. In December, Flock supporters such as Councilmember Von Wilper demonized us and labeled us crazy. Not only have we found out since about a secret contract the city has signed with Flock Nova, we warned you that law enforcement officers were using Flock safety to stalk their romantic partners, even to California, despite the law that was supposed to prevent sharing data outside the state. Since then, at least one more stalker that we know about has done some more stalking. Another one, a police chief in Brazelton, Georgia, who was arrested for misusing Flock data, has committed suicide. Imagine where his family would be if he wasn't given the ability to stalk his wife with Flock data. And I'd like to close with a list of governmental bodies that have already deactivated Flock. Flagstaff, Arizona; Cambridge, Massachusetts; Eugene, Oregon; Denver, Colorado; Hillsborough, North Carolina; Richmond; Santa Cruz, South
Thank
Pasadena,
you.
and
This
Mountain
does
View,
conclude
California.
your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you, Patricia Mondragon, and you'll be followed by Dino Starbucks Smith with the Community Budget Alliance. Okay. We'll get that from you. And let me just read their name. Mohammed Behi, are you here? Can you please raise your hand, Mohammed? Patricia, do you see him? Oh, okay. Thank you. So you'll have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Patricia Mondragon with Alliance San Diego and the Community Budget Alliance. The mayor says this budget protects essential services, but it does the opposite. It cuts libraries, parks, youth services, climate equity, stormwater funding, and homelessness strategies, while increasing investments in policing and surveillance. That is not protection. When it comes to flooding and climate disasters, delay is dangerous. Districts 4, 8, and 9 continue to flood due to years of underinvestment. We've already seen the consequences. After the 2024 floods, Alliance San Diego supported impacted families. What we heard was clear. The city was unprepared. Response was slow, support was limited, and recovery has been long and devastating, especially for low-income families and renters. This is what underinvestment looks like. We need a San Diego where housing is treated as a human right, with real investments in eviction prevention, shelter, and services that lead to permanent housing. We urge you to invest $100 million in stormwater infrastructure, restore critical community and homelessness services, and reallocate funding away from policing and surveillance. All San Diegans deserve a city that is prepared, responsive, and invested in its people. So please, we ask you to prioritize people by adopting the People's Budget through the Community Budget Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you. Dino Starbucks Smith, please approach the lectern, and you've been seated time. Are you part of the Community Budget Alliance group? Oh, okay, great. I will list this name of, or I will provide the names of these 15 individuals. If you could please raise your hand that you are here. There's Dino Amelia Lopez, CJ Mendoza. Is CJ Mendoza here? Thank you. Natalie Rasky. I saw her, okay. Jessica Calix, Jessica. Okay, Layla Aziz.
Linnell Brown instead.
Oh, okay, okay. Is Lucky Michael? Thank you. Noah Yee. Noah, thank you. Christopher Kennison. Janika Faulkner. Abiha Hussein. Thank you. Jesus Martin Gallegos Munoz. Thank you. Nelly Gomez Amaya. April. Apologies, I can't read the last name. Thank you. Megan Lee. Okay, and then the final one is Dan. Is Dan here? Okay. And then also this group, this individual, Tama Becca Verano. Okay, so the maximum time is 15 minutes for the group presentation. I'll put 15 minutes on the clock for you to manage, and please begin.
Good evening, council members. My name is Casadino Starbuck Smith. We want to begin our vision for the city of San Diego, the kind of city we want to be and believe we can be. At the core of this vision is a San Diego where everyone has what they need to thrive, where young people are supported, where all communities have access to clean parks, open libraries, and streets we can move through freely, where safety is built through care, investment, and opportunity, and not falsely sold as surveillance and punishment, where our coalition does not have to return year after year to fight for a people's budget because our communities are already resourced and thriving, and the budget reflects what truly keeps us safe. That is the San Diego we all deserve, and that is why we are here today. We are members of the Community Budget Alliance, a coalition of San Diegans, young people, workers, families, community-based organizations, and labor unions who come together every year to fight for a people's budget, a budget that prioritizes neighborhoods that have been historically under-resourced and overlooked, and actively dismantles systemic inequalities. We developed our priorities with a clear understanding of the city's budget reality. Even then, what we are asking for are modest, common sense investments that move us closer to the vision we've laid out. And to be clear, this is far less than what our communities need to build the San Diego we deserve. The mayor's proposed budget cuts the very services and programs that help our communities thrive and thus keep us safe. Libraries, parks and rec, youth services, arts and culture, housing, stormwater infrastructure, and climate justice investments, all while pouring money into systems that criminalize and surveil our communities. If we are serious about safety, then we have to be serious about what allows people to live, grow, and thrive. Now I'll invite Amelia to speak.
Hi, my name is Amelia Lopez, and I'm a member of Mid-City Can Youth Council. The budget is a moral document, a statement of our city's value. The mayor has a priority problem. He prioritizes punishment over prevention. Public spaces help us thrive. Safety lives in our public spaces. It lives in our parks where kids play, families gather, and communities breathe. It lives in our libraries where people learn, access resources, and find connection. They are essential services, not luxuries. We need to be prioritizing investments in these spaces, and yet Mayor Gloria cuts them. Our parks should be places where children play and communities thrive, not broken playgrounds and stalled promises. Right now, even small park improvements take years because of costly centralized processes. That's why we are calling on you to invest in solutions, like adding a deputized city engineer to the Parks and Rec Department to speed up projects and lower costs and make sure that every community in San Diego has access to green spaces. And safety doesn't stop at the park, it starts on the way there. We envision a city where streets that are safe, accessible, and built for people. Right now in our communities, families and young people are relying on volunteers just to cross the street safely. For $4,000, the city council could install a pedestrian beacon near Rosa Parks Elementary and prevent tragedy. If this budget is truly about mission critical services, then protecting people in their daily lives on their way to school, work, or home should be at the top of that list. We demand investments in pedestrian safety infrastructure, starting with this $40,000 beacon near Rosa Parks Elementary School, because no one should have to risk their life to move through their own neighborhood. We demand that you fully restore the cuts to the libraries, parks and recs, and invest in a deputized city engineer so that projects within parks and recs can be delivered faster, at lower costs, and equitably across our communities. And I say this with pure confidence, but without the library, I would have not gotten into a school with a pool ride. So thank you.
Hello, council members. I'm CJ Mendoza. I'm able to stand here today because my journey started at Bell Middle School with their youth social justice program, while also being in theater class as an elective all the way until high school. I was an organizing intern at ASC and then SDAPI Coalition. I was in Pacific Arts Movement's Real Voices program, class of 22, and have been their seasonal will call coordinator for 3 years now. I am now at Youthwell as an outreach and organizing intern and playwright, producer, actress for my independent production, How We Love Play, that was performed in City Heights back in March. I am only 22 years old. My work is not done yet, and I'm not letting cuts stop what I love doing, organizing and creating. And on my path of doing both, I've met talented, amazing, and powerful young people, which led to believing in them and their dreams. So when you believe in youth power, you'll believe in a future that's brighter, because that's exactly what young people do. Young people keep San Diego sunny, and we all have a part in keeping it that way. Young people need art and proper infrastructure to thrive, and we need programming to keep our dreams alive. The Office of Child and Youth Success is responsible for making sure young people can have just that. OCYS ensures young people have the resources, services, and opportunities they need to thrive. Many former interns have said the same thing about their experience with OCYS. OCYS uplifts the youth. And in order to uplift our young people, we need to take care of them too, properly. The youth drop-in centers fill the gaps the city leaves by providing services to youth in districts 4 and 8 to ensure they are taken care of. We cannot say we value children and families while dismantling the impactful systems that support them. We demand that you fully fund the Office of Child and Youth Success and deliver the remaining $500K to fund 2 youth drop-in centers so that our city's commitment to young people is real. We demand that you fund arts and culture with the $1,800,000 increase currently proposed for funding police around Petco Park special events, which should be funded by the billionaire-owned Padres team. Because a city that invests in belonging, connection, and expression is a city that thrives and is safe for our talented young people. Now I'll invite Jessica to speak.
Hi, my name is Jessica Calix. I'm a lifelong resident of San Diego County, and I'm also a flood survivor from District 8. I'm a mom, I'm a small business owner, and former PTA mom. And I'm here to talk about the stormwater infrastructure. Safety means protection from disaster, from flooding, from storms, and climate impacts. When I envision a funded stormwater infrastructure, I imagine like all of our flood channels in the entire county being completely updated so that when it rains, we don't live in fear, we don't have PTSD and flashbacks, because we're all still rebuilding our lives from January 2024. And every time it rains, we get anxiety because we know the flood channels have not been updated and we know it can flood again. So everything that we've worked for to recover could be lost. But that's not just for flood survivors, that's for everyone in San Diego. You know, we all should be able to work hard, build up our families, and be able to pass what we build onto our children. But on that day, we lost everything we owned. We lost our home, we lost our cars, and we're still recovering to this day. This budget cuts stormwater investment, weakens infrastructure, and delays critical repairs when there's already a backlog of over 3,000 cases. And there's a little bit more about my story. You know, I lived in Southcrest, in the community there. On January 22nd, 2024, it was a combination of an atmospheric river with failed stormwater infrastructure, and 1,500 homes across the county were destroyed, and even more cars. And the emergency services were completely overwhelmed. The entire day, if you called 911, there was no one there to help you in the county. That's whether you're having a heart attack or whatever's going on with you. There was more people needing to be rescued than there were rescuers. So people were drowning in their living rooms, drowning in their front yards, balancing babies and pots on top of their heads, getting floated away in trash cans. And we still live with that trauma to this day. And it's very difficult to move forward and continue building because it weighs on our hearts and it's hard. And how are we supposed to be present and move forward and heal when we know it could happen tomorrow? A storm can come, the skies can open up, and our whole lives will get destroyed again. So we cannot afford to rebuild again, and neither can the city or the county. And just the fact that there's a proposed cut to stormwater infrastructure, it's a slap in the face to our communities, to District 4, 8, 9. You know, it makes us more vulnerable to future disasters. And it makes us feel like, we don't matter and that we're just going to get left behind. At the same time, it eliminates the city's contribution to the Climate Equity Fund, a fund that supports resilience in communities most impacted by climate change. Maybe we should change the name to change the name of the fund, like remove equity, and maybe Mayor Gloria won't continue to cut it. This is not preparation, this is neglect. And to me, neglect is abuse. And I'm a firsthand survivor of that. We know what happened when stormwater infrastructure is not invested in because it happened to us. We all lost everything and we're still rebuilding to this day. We demand at least $100 million in proactive stormwater funding, restoration of maintenance and mitigation programs, and a full funding for the Climate Equity Fund to protect the communities most at risk. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Natalie, and I represent District 7. As you all know, I'm a mother of 4, and our EHV voucher has been cut. It will end this fall. Doing cuts away from the Neil Good Day Center, where does that leave my family and I? You're cutting to zero, the resources to zero, if you make those cuts. Over 7,000 unhoused people rely on those resources. And then we're going to budget to criminalize people like me and my kids. I don't see how that makes any sense at all. To be punished for situations I didn't create. Tell me how I explain to my children when those budgets are cut and we have nowhere to go. How do I explain that to my children? You can't cut the budget to the Neil Dagood Center. Thank you.
Hello, Honorable Council Budget Chair and honorable members of the City Council. My name is Linnell Hands, CEO, President of Giving Hands nonprofit, and Director of the Mountain View Drop-In Center. I stand before you this evening along with many supporters to present my position and appeal to council for reinstating the funds to the Youth Drop-In Center. My organization primarily services the youth. However, we provide services and resources to all citizens that come into the center. We don't discriminate based on age, race, gender, sexual preference, or residency. We don't discriminate at all. We are here to serve everyone. We're able to service residents in the community hours that the library and recreation centers are closed. Most importantly, we act first and address immediate concerns. We don't require completion of paperwork up front and priors and provide service. We're also on call 24 hours as violence interrupters because people are in the streets that need help that police cannot provide. And they do not call them, they call us. And we come and we stop things from happening. And there's not been a violence, a death in Mountain View in our area in the last 2 years, thanks to us. Collaborating with Mimi, collaborating with Stocks Memorial, and these guys right here listen to us, and we make a difference. And y'all don't see that. I wish you would open your eyes and know that this is very important. In closing, we understand there is a budget deficit citywide. However, it is our hope that the council, along with the mayor's office, will consider allocating partial or reducing funds or anything is greatly appreciated to keep our youth centers open. We will be available should the council or the mayor's office have any questions to ask us. We're sincere about this.
Hello, my name is Rashawn. And I volunteer at the center you was just talking about. That center really does help me a lot. It helps me apply for colleges. I also volunteer there as well. I help families whose first language is Spanish because I'm fluent in it. I help them apply to college a little better in school, help them get jobs any way that I can. Okay. Hablo español también. Fui a una escuela por 7, 8 años, so entiendo todo. Puedo ayudar a alguien, wherever you want.
Thank you.
And I know we've only got 30 seconds left. Just want to say that if we're serious about building a city that works for San Diegans, we need to generate the necessary resources to do so. Something you can do right now is reform how golf revenues are collected and invested. Restore the land use fee to 14.4%. Make sure they aren't paying for their capital projects in cash. Let's resource that more equitably across the city. And let's ensure that revenue is going, benefiting the entire city. Just want to say, lastly, this is our city, our public dollars, and our budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And just a brief announcement here in chambers. If you're looking for a seat, we do have an adjacent overflow room here on the 12th floor across the hall in the committee room. If you would like to take a seat and watch the meeting in there, if you've submitted a slip to speak and haven't spoken yet, you can be seated in that room. And when I call your name, you'll just make your way back over to chambers. We will continue with the following group. If you can please make your way to the reserved seats. Samantha Schwimmer, Janet Rogers, Lo Horst, Mike Miller, and Marla King. Please come up to the front of the room. Samantha, please approach the lectern.
Hi, good evening, Chair Foster and council members. I'm here today to ask for you all to really stand up for our communities. The mayor's budget is completely unacceptable. To even propose cutting parks, cutting libraries, the very backbone of our community, our youth programs, the things that make San Diego America's finest city, and instead fund programs that, quite frankly, the citizens do not need right now, such as increased parking enforcement. I know that we need revenue, but I think that there are other places that we can look first. We can be penalizing corporations like Airbnb that have come into our communities. We can look to, passing hopefully the vacant home tax come June. There are other sources of revenue, and I really ask that you look those places. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet?
My name is Janet Rogers, and I'm co-chair of the Safe Walkways. The city has a $70 to $90 million unfunded backlog of ADA projects. We support the budget request made by the Accessibility Advisory Board for $18 million per year for the next 5 years to fix the backlog. The list is growing because the city is not complying with its duty based on the Americans with Disabilities Act. Last fall, the board made presentations to each of your offices and the mayor's office regarding the backlog. I only see $1.5 million in new ADA projects. You have time to correct this oversight. The city may be in violation of federal law. A class action suit against Long Beach resulted in $357 million judgment to fix ADA violations. Isn't it cheaper to fix the problems? Instead, the departments ludicrously tell blind people to file a report when they see an ADA violation. Once they get hurt, the problem is put in an
Thank you. This
unfunded
does
list
conclude
forever.
your time.
Please follow the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Lo Horst, you'll be followed by Mike Miller, Marla King, Celio Usurian, excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong, and Michelle Kruig.
Hi there, my name is Lo Horst. I'm a resident of District 3 and the Director of Philanthropy for San Diego Pride, one of the organizations facing a loss of over $370,000 under the proposed arts funding cuts. In reflecting on these cuts, the principle that says that budgets are not just numbers, they are reflections of our values continues to come to my mind. This budget proposal reflects a message that the city of San Diego does not value arts and culture. I know, and everyone in this room knows, that that is not true, yet it is not meaningful and impactful unless we pour tangible resources into programs that support arts and culture and the voices uplifted by them, including our most marginalized community members. I urge you to restore funding for arts and culture, to invest in the programs and organizations that both fuel our local economy and embody the values that we claim to hold as a city. If we say we value equity, inclusion, and community, our budget must reflect that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Miller? Is someone ceding you time? Oh, okay. Mike Miller, you're being ceded time by Allison Miller. Allison, are you here? Thank you. So you'll have 2 minutes. Please begin.
All right, I'm here to suggest some areas that can be cut to make up for some of the more important things in our community. There was a great article by Voice of San Diego last month that reported on the 4 police helicopters that we have. In addition to millions of dollars in annual leasing costs, those 4 helicopters cost approximately $7.7 million in operating costs. This is despite the fact that they respond to 0.48% of all 911 calls in 2025. The key performance indicators that were listed on that budget document shows that the San Diego Police Department has not met their goals in complaints against officers, serious sustained allegations against officers, and violent crime clearance rate. And then the key performance indicator for community sentiment was conveniently marked as not available. Despite all of these realities and numbers, this is the 1 or 2 departments that not only doesn't face cuts, but has been given $14 million in extra money under the proposed budget, including $7.5 million in non-personnel expenditures. I feel like some clarity and understanding as to what that money is going to be spent on would be better, or alternatively, you could just give it to the arts and the libraries instead. I feel like this is not a department that should just be given a blank check to do whatever they want, given their track record. One example that I'll give is I was walking home last week and I saw a parked San Diego Police Department parking patrol vehicle, only I did not recognize that it was a parking patrol vehicle at first because it appeared to be a brand new Ford Mustang. Personally, I think you can write parking tickets without a Ford Mustang. So just some thoughts for you as you consider where to find money for the arts and the libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. Marla King?
Hi, my name is Marla King and I'm a resident of Council District 4. I'm a bisexual, bilingual Latina psychologist that has previously worked in a residential rehabilitation center. I have witnessed firsthand how people's substance use has affected not only their own lives, but the lives of their loved ones as well as our community. This is why I would like to request that the city budget relocate $3,000 from the opioid settlement funds to support San Diego's LGBTQ Community Center Substance Use Program. This money will assist in providing a culturally competent, humanistic approach to those that are struggling with substance use disorders and mental illness that will ultimately help our community by decreasing homelessness. As a San Diego native, I would also like to advocate for our city to restore full funding to arts and culture, as I have firsthand seen the benefits in having our parks, museums, and libraries be open to the public. These are areas that I often visited when I was in school as a place for relaxation, reflection, socialization. Thank you.
Thank you. Salio, please approach the lectern. Salio.
Good evening, City. My name is Saleh Osman. I'm a resident of San Diego. I'm coming from Oromo community of San Diego. Have basically like 3 pointers. We have been housing crisis in the city of San Diego. So we need demand is more housing project in San Diego. Too much expenses in for low-income families as well as to accommodate it. We need more budget as a city to be cut and build more houses to avoid the increasement of homelessness and housing insecurity. We urge the city councils to cut more budgets to build more houses to accommodate all these low-income family to be survived and sustainable to live in city of San Diego. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Krug, Michelle. And you'll be followed by Imani Robinson, Nalini Gupta, Jerry Hager, and Rachel Lozano.
Good evening. Michelle Krug, City Council, District 4. I ask you, please do not cut our homeless services, our libraries, our park and rec. These are resources that are preventative, and that makes no sense. Do take back 15 extra, hear me, extra $1 million that you're giving to the police, reallocate that back to our neighborhoods. Also, the golf courses. Why in the world are they only paying 9% of the profit back into our general fund? These are our golf courses. These are our public ones. Please, it should be a minimum of 20%. Think about not being short-sighted, and the storm drains. That I just ask you, please find a way to bring all these back. Thank you.
Thank you. Imani Robinson, and you've been seated time by Rashid. Rashid Youssef? Rashid here? Okay, you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Imani Robinson. I'm a commissioner on arts and culture for District 9, and I'm also on the Commission for Police Practice, representing Council Member President LaCava. Thriving communities are safe communities. Please restore art funds as we continue to be over $1 billion economic force through the efforts of our creative economy as we implement our city's arts and cultural creative city plan. Prevention has caused our crime rate to decline by funding art organizations, youth programs, after school in community centers and libraries, and during school in our museum. It's our community, cultural events keeping our neighborhoods safe. Doctors are now prescribing art for mental health. Art activated communities are safe and thriving communities. We can fund this by getting our fair share of TOT funds to restore our $10 million back into the arts. Maybe we can tap into our golf fees or illegal dumping fees. Let's look at our budget creatively and holistically, like allowing our families back into our Balboa Park, maybe possibly free parking for library card holders, and having our visitors pay for the parking. Or charging a small fee for our fire pits instead of taking away our summer tradition. Maybe cutting a few public hours, but not shutting the doors. Thank you.
Thank you. Nalini?
Good evening, council members. My name is Nalini Gupta, and I am the policy director of the ACLU of San Diego and Imperial Counties. The city's proposed budget overinvests in policing and surveillance at the expense of programs that help San Diegans thrive, including youth, housing, and arts programs. I'm here to urge you to pass the people's budget, one that reflects safe neighborhoods, strong youth programs, and thriving communities. We urge the city of San Diego to end Flock's contracts, which cost millions of dollars, undermine trust, and threaten privacy. Taxpayer money should not be funding increasingly invasive warrantless searches of San Diego residents and visitors. End overinvestment in policing and redirect this money to youth programs, libraries, parks, and other services and resources that support families, community members, and young people every day. In a moment when civil rights and liberties are being attacked on a national stage, San Diego should choose a budget that invests in people, not surveillance and criminalization.
Thank you. Jerry?
Thank you. My name is Jerry Hager. I've been a theater artist for over 40 years. And I've seen how art on a firsthand basis can become a healing agent for not only the soul, the body, but the spirit of imagination. The spirit of imagination is a gift given to all of us human beings. To point, in fact, everything in this room, even the clothes on you, is a product of someone's imagination. How did that come to be? Through the eyes of an artist. Would you take away your worship time? I'm assuming that all of you go to some place to have that moment once a week. Art brings that moment 7/24. It opens the eyes, it inspires, it is the pathway to humanity. You take away that opportunity, you close the eyes.
Thank you. Rachel Lozano, and you'll be followed by Alexis Primo, Judy Boss, and then a group presentation by Mid-City Can.
Hello, my name is Rachel Lozano Castro. I'm here today as a resident of District 4, someone who works in District 9, and a person with friends and family in Districts 1, 2, and 5, and 6, and many close friends through Districts 3, 7, and 8. I often meet in third spaces, community small businesses, parks, libraries, and art spaces. These are my communities. I'm speaking tonight with the Community Budget Alliance, PANA and Partners. I want to be clear that I fully support the hardworking staff of the City of San Diego. I care about stormwater, green infrastructure, public services. I'll be here tomorrow to talk about libraries and parks. But today I want to talk about another misuse of public funds. While the city proposes draconian cuts to neighborhood services, it continues to fund expensive mass surveillance owned and operated by individuals with extremist ideologies like Flock, which provides a growing danger to San Diegans, especially in communities that are already experienced the harms of both over-policing and under-service, like the neighborhood I will go home to tonight after this. You have the power to make this change during this revision. I urge you to use it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexis?
Hello, my name is Alexis, the organizer of San Diego Parent Voices. I'm here today to reject the mayor's budget cuts to our libraries, parks, the Office of Child and Youth Success, and art and cultural funding. It's clear that this budget does not invest in San Diego's children. Our children are the future, and they should come first, not last. There are many uncertain parents in our community seeking answers. Parents that utilize the library computers to apply for jobs. Parents who rely on library programs for their children's homework assistance and storytime activities. Parents seeking hope for resources to build a better life for themselves and their families. So again, reject the proposed cuts to programs that our children and families rely on. Restore funding to libraries and parks, and restore funding to the Office of Child and Youth Success. Thank you.
Thank you. Judy Voss?
Good evening. My name is Judy Boz. I'm the Public Affairs Manager for Planned Parenthood Action Fund of the Pacific Southwest. We are here today to ask you to restore funding to the programs that benefit our community. Investing in our youth will always be our greatest investment, our smartest, the most economical, and the most sensible. This moment requires transparency, and it also demands bravery and compassion. We stand here united as a coalition, as advocates, as healthcare providers, researchers, and the people with lived experience. Restore funding and hours for our libraries, protect our art, our kids, and work with us to create solutions for our ever-changing city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mid-City Can, if you can approach the lectern, I will be reading the 15 names that are together. If you could please raise your hand. Paloma? Thank you. Steve Stevenson? Thank you. I think it's Martin Piatto. Martin, thank you. And Spogme, thank you. Denley, thank you. Victor, Victor. Carolee Serrano, Noel, thank you. Angelique, or Angelique, thank you. Alexander, Janine, and Rose Sade, thank you. Amanda Ramirez, thank you. Alton Lewis, and Kawaka Onso, thank you. So you'll have 15 minutes to manage, and I will start your time now.
Hello, council members. My name is Paloma Contenango. I am the youth organizer with Mid-City Can's Youth Council. I'm also a resident and homeowner in City Heights. Council members, most of you said that libraries, parks, and rec centers matter to you. You even included them in your priority memos in January. Unfortunately, your memos do not shape the budget. Your actions do. San Diegans are counting on you to fight for us. By cutting the resources our youth and community rely on, you are leaving San Diegans behind. You are telling our youth, our seniors, our working class communities, and communities of color that they do not matter. I grew up as a low-income kid in Logan Heights. My family and friends relied on the parks, libraries, and rec centers. I remember going to the Barrio Logan pools in the summer. That's where I taught my siblings to swim. I remember going to the Logan Heights Library. It was our weekly activity. After work, my mom would go to her free aerobics class at Memorial Park. Every birthday and celebration was held at Chicano Park. Now we go to Henwood Park to walk our dog and meet community members. Where will our families be in 20 years? Where will our parks be in 20 years? Wondering what to cut? Cut the amount of time and money it takes to fix our parks. Parks and Rec could fix our it just sorry. Parks and Rec could fix our districts faster if they had direct access to a deputized city engineer. Parks and Rec will be here tomorrow. Ask Andy and his team directly how this position will save the city money and time when building parks such as Henwood Memorial Park. A $300,000 investment will save us millions. We are counting on you to make the right decisions. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council and community members. My name is Martin Piado. I am a junior at Hoover High School and I have lived in City Heights a majority of my life. Throughout my whole life, I remember going to parks and rec centers like Park de la Cruz and Officer Jeremy Henwood Park. Whether it was playing pool in the recreation center, to kicking a ball in the park, or even playing video games in the libraries, these parks and recreational centers are really important to me and other residents in San Diego County. These parks were definitely a safe space for me to play. I grew up in a really urbanized area where there are many streets around me, and it's not the most safe place to play in, especially when my favorite activity was playing soccer and the ball would go to the street sometimes. I hope for sacred memories like mine to continue on with people in the future in these parks and recreation centers. I also hope for the safety of San Diego residents in which these parks and recreational centers provide. So with this, I ask the city council to please save our parks and recreational centers. They are a crucial part of people's childhood and our communities. I am calling on you to invest in youth, fund our future, and give us access to green spaces. Save our parks by protecting recreation hours, maintenance staff, programming, and rangers as much as possible. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Sparkmate, and I'm a freshman student at Hoover High School. I'm here today because the park in my community is damaged and has not been properly repaired yet. This directly affects me, my classmate, and many families in our neighborhood. For many students, including myself, there are very few safe and positive places to go after school. A clean and well-maintained park would give us a space to be active, relax, and spend time in a healthy environment. Right now, the condition of the park makes it difficult to fully use and enjoy. In addition, the park's current state can feel unsafe and unwelcoming for families and younger children. Broken or poorly maintained spaces discourage people from gathering and prevent the park from serving its purpose as a community space. Can you think of a park that needs repairs in your district? Missing slides, no shade, dry grass, etc.? Do you want that park repaired? The current system for a park repair is lengthy, costly, and confusing. I respectfully ask you to prioritize repairing and improving all parks and to assign a senior deposit engineer to give the Parks and Rec Department the ability to complete projects in-house so it can move forward and be completed properly. Our community deserves a safe, clean, and welcoming space. Thank you.
Good evening. Good, good evening, City Council and community members. My name is Sevenson. I'm a sophomore at Hoover High School. I'm here today with Miss City Ken to speak on behalf of the families who visit Jeremy and Wood Memorial Park in Sea Heights. Our parks are currently suffering from neglect. When a space like Enwood Park needs a repair or a simple infrastructure update, the improvement get buried in a long process, competing for attention with other projects. This delay is not only frustrating, but also fiscally irresponsible. Every month, a project sits waiting for a signature, and the cost of labor and materials continue to rise. Deferred maintenance is a debt we pay with interest. We are here to demand the city council and the mayor to allocate $300,000 for Deputy City Engineer position dedicated exclusively to the Parks and Recreation Department to complete all small projects. We are here to ask you, please protect Parks and Rec from devastating cuts, protect recreation hours, maintenance staff, and programming as much as possible. Cutting back on these services risk widening inequities. We are fighting for our parks, but our parks are not up to par. This is why we need a deputy city engineer. Help us to get inequity in our parks. Thank you.
Hello, everybody at the City Council. My name is David Acevedo. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. I'm a member of the community of City Heights. I've lived there since 1996. Now, I was a high school dropout. The only reason why I got my high school education or now I'm in San Diego State is because of my Marine Corps. Now, all these students already here on the back is students, we all volunteer our time, our organizations beautifying our parks. I see our parks and they're full with caution tape. Kids can't play around it for simple repairs. I say we stop the bureaucracy. Give us an opportunity to fix the park. We'll fix it ourselves if we have to. But I just, there's too much red tape with the way that, things are going. So a yes, and us says we see you. It says we hear you. So, I understand that policing needs to happen, but you know what? The way we better police our community is by taking care of our community. These are the way. They are the future I want to see in my community. I am out there mentoring for free. I don't get paid out or nothing like this, but we're out there cleaning the parks. We're out there, in the canyons and whatnot. So when you guys say it's a budget in it, I understand that it's a budgeting, but we need to figure out areas that we could work together with the community, bring opportunities for the youth. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Denley, and I am a member of Mid-City Cans Youth Council. I'm here because highly utilized parks and parks in low-income communities, as well as libraries, shall be protected from across-the-board cuts. Parks and libraries are places for lower-income people like myself to learn, exercise, and play without being locked out by a price tag. Parks and libraries are essential for the success of struggling communities, and people in lower income communities will be disproportionately and unfairly affected by cuts to Parks and Rec and libraries. I am also here because our parks need to be fixed. Needing to sink years and millions of dollars of precious taxpayer dollars on one park is ridiculous, and the city should do something about it. The city needs a deputized city engineer to fix our parks more effectively and to help us end inequities in park access. And lastly, I'm here to say that the flock contract must be ended to help balance the budget in a way that protects San Diegans. So, City Council members, I ask you to please protect Parks and Recs as well as libraries, to please hire a city or deputized city engineer and to end the flock contracts. Thank you.
Hello and good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Amanda Ramirez. I'm a junior at Hoover High School, meaning I am 4 blocks away from Officer Henwood Park when I get out of school, when I visit my grandma, and closer when I go to visit friends. I was born in San Diego and all my life lived here, especially in City Heights, yet this is the most local park I have never had permission to go near. Never ending complaints from my family, too dangerous, ugly, too much homeless, and addicts. Once I went for the first time, the playground was closed off and homeless sleeping on the benches in front of the play structures. The second time I had came from Subway, never nearby trying to enjoy sitting at the benches as it was the only thing to do. Then a quick realize realize the bathrooms were closed, unable to be there much longer, I left. The cuts to parks and maintenance staff will make these conditions worse. I am here today taking time out of my studies, youth, all of us are here to ask you to allocate for a deputized officer, saving money, time, and in the long run, parks all around San Diego, even beyond. Don't let parks get into a state of disrepair to invest more money into them. Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Kareli Serrano. I'm a resident of City Heights and a former Youth Council member. I was here last year too, and I'm saddened by the fact that I am here again fighting for the basic necessities of our communities. Parks, libraries, rec centers, arts and culture are lifelines, not luxuries. They are vital to the prosperity of our community. I have lived in City Heights for 25 years, and I remember how vital Peralta Park played in my childhood. Growing up in an apartment complex, the only place I had was my local park to have fun outside of school. I look forward to my laps around the park after school to feel like a kid. Recently, I've had the privilege of working with Arts, a nonprofit that has that where with the students we beautify their garden space. They share how excited they are to be outside after a long day inside of their classrooms and how happy they are to have a space where they can contribute to their school and make art that represents it. I see the importance to create space for our youth to flourish, just like Youth Council did for me. Officer Jeremy Henwood Memorial Park is a space in City Heights. It brings our community together. It gives us hope. That is why I'm asking that you restore the cuts proposed in the mayor's draft budget and support Youth Council's ask. Think of the long-term prosperity of our city and not the easy solutions that are going to cause detrimental impacts to the future already struggling communities. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Noel Garcia. I am a fourth year student at UCSD to graduate in June. Now, I'm not from San Diego. I actually grew up in West Covina from LA County, but I have since found a home here in the sense of community and belonging. What started off as a work internship in City Heights with Mid-City Can had developed into much, much more. Family. Genuine care nurtured by the accessibility of a park. Most wonderful moments and my cherished memories in City Heights have taken place at Henwood Memorial Park, where community members, families, children, performers, art, and culture have gotten together to celebrate Dia de los Muertos and the Festival of Love. And I've seen the power of what happens when you keep these spaces funded, clean, and safe, and what happens when you invest in youth and support them by providing them the resources that they need. When I step foot in Headwood, I'm able to see how they offer calm, peace, beauty, and intensifies community eyes on the street, creating the safety and protection we need for our kids. Someone like me, a non-resident, was able to find support and love from parks, and many others deserve the same. I urge you that you please ensure to invest in the lives of the youth and the community, and to do so in an equitable manner for this fiscal year budget.
Hi, my name is Ali Arjona. I only have a little bit of time, so I'm gonna go fast. I work with kids, and I go to the library, use the 3D printing services, and I go to prom with Rainbow Spaces. They are a nonprofit organization that gets funded by you guys. I use the social services that are up here in San Diego as well. I'm from Chula Vista, so I have to make the journey all the way up here to make it up here on time. The big organizations that get funded in the city of San Diego have their branches in other parts of San Diego, including Chula Vista, National City, and San Ysidro. Supporting the arts and youth as a child, I wanted to do artistic things, but my city didn't have the funding, so do not make the same mistake that they did. Have you heard of a third space? Everyone has a third space. First space is going to be where they are home. Their second space is going to be their work. Their third place is going to be somewhere that they can go to and relax, a community space. That is where you're moving. If you fund the parks and recs, if the fund the parks and recs cuts the revenue from the golf, oh my God, sorry, from the golf fund without any operational impacts to the city golf courses. I'm part of LGBT community and I go to artistic places like Diversionary Theater. That place is also a third space for me. On r/San Diego on Reddit, someone asked, I saw this question that they asked on the LA subreddit, so I'll ask here, what is your third place in San Diego? Someone said library, park, and beach. Someone else said my third place is a volo kickball, and the fourth place is the golf courses. Someone else said the zoo and the Balboa Park. Another person said the local park by our house. Does that library count? Because I go there a lot with my toddler. Someone else mentioned that in University Heights that they go for coffee at Lasat's, that someone else goes to the Diversionary Theater, that someone else goes to El Zarape, someone else goes to the park that's nearby, and they can spend an easy 4 to 6 hours at the park. You are cutting places that people are going to be using every single day to have a safe space. Why would you cut that? Please, rethink of what you're doing.
Thank you. And if the following individuals can please make their way to the front of the room, Miguel Lua Sanchez, Huxley, Huxley Sadari, Travis Bouchard, and Linnell Brown. So Miguel, if you can please approach the lectern, you'll have 1 minute. Miguel?
I use this mic, correct? I use this mic?
Yes, please use that mic.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Miguel Luis Sanchez. I'm a junior at Morris High School in Southeast District 4, and here today with the Center on Policy Initiatives and the Community Budget Alliance. Libraries and rec centers are not luxuries, they are essential to our communities. These are the spaces that keep our communities learning and connected. Since my youth, I have used the public libraries from checking out books because my school didn't have its own library, and then to needed to print out a resume for my first job interview. The public library is a crucial aspect to all San Diegans growing up. The feature of having books being delivered to one another has become a lifesaver for me and others in my community. The people in my communities may not always have the funds or may not feel comfortable going to another side of the city that's unknown to them. What they do have is their drive of knowledge and to know more. And because of the internet landscaping, this tool of infinite knowledge creates a smokescreen for people who still want to learn the truth. I urge you to fully fund libraries, parks, and rec centers so every community has the resources they need to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Huxley Sadari, and you've been seated time by Elaine. Elaine, are you here? Thank you. So you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening, council members. My name is Huxley Alexandre Sederi. I'm 17 years old and a junior at La Jolla High School, and I live in District 1. I am part of the Center of Policy Initiatives, and I'm here alongside the Community Budget Alliance. When young people have the support, opportunities, and resources they need, they thrive. Right now, the city of San Diego is failing our youth. Instead of providing programs and services, the city is policing and incarcerating our youth from increases in the police budget, proposed increases that is. From California state budgeting analyses, it costs from $150 upwards to $300,000 per year to incarcerate one young person in California, while community-based youth programs like the youth drop-in centers in districts 4 and 8, which are at risk, cost a fraction of that and lead to better outcomes, such as increased employment and graduation. I'm here to express my disdain as youth to proposed approximate slashes of cuts to up to $12 million in arts and culture, cuts to youth centers, specifically in Southeast San Diego, other $6 million cuts to libraries, among other parks and rec cuts of around $8 million, and cuts to other important community centers. These centers, which may be one of few spaces available to youth, are critical spaces where youth can be received and truly thrive. The arts are part of a balanced education that all youth deserve. Art represents a way for students to express and grow. And I ask you, isn't that what education and creating a city of well-rounded citizens is all about? Giving us a voice to express ourselves, our views, our dreams, and ambitions? Cuts to such further inhibit the manner in which San Diego can cultivate well-rounded youth that contribute to the culture and identity unique to our city. The aforementioned youth drop-in centers fill the gaps the city leaves to provide services imperative to youth, such as help with internships, job placements, houses, classes, therapy, mental health services, and more. It's been 4 years now, and Mayor Gloria still hasn't provided the full funding the city committed to. I urge the committee to allocate the remaining $500,000 promised to the Stockton Memorial and Mountain View Youth Drop-in Centers. Thank you.
Thank you. Travis Bouchard, please approach the lectern. And following Travis, we'll have Linnell Brown, Melissa Hernandez, Devon Jones, and Ramses. If you could please come to the front of the room.
Travis, District 7. The mayor's proposed 23 million in cuts to arts, including youth services, libraries, and rec centers. We paid 49 million in OT last fiscal year to police. Cap police OT at 29 million. Again, I'll repeat it for you. Cap police OT at 29 million. Stop flock. You now have 23 million to fully fund youth services, keep library and rec centers open at 2025 funding levels. With 50 million in OT, SDPD takes 36 minutes to respond to a Priority 1 call today. Domestic violence, armed robbery, child abuse. You have lots of tools at your disposal, and many of you look inept. Why are armed police officers responding to car accidents? As Henry Foster said, why are you not demanding 2-officer patrols? If a Republican mayor proposed this budget, every one of you would be throwing them under the bus. Instead, you're playing partisan politics at the expense of your most vulnerable constituents. Do better and fire Daniel Gold. And thanks, Joe, for muzzling yourself.
Linnell Brown. And you'll be followed by Melissa Hernandez, Devon Jones, Ramses, and I'll call one more, Kevin Beno. Please begin.
Hello, my name is Tina Sanchez. I'm with the Stockton Memorial Youth Drop-In Centers.
If we want strong communities, we must invest in our youth. But let's be clear, our communities are not just asking for investment. We are already generating that money that should be reinvested to our communities. Through events like Chicano Park Day, the Fat Camp, annual softball games, and the year-round cultural programming that we organize, we are bringing thousands of people into this city. They stay in hotels, they eat in our restaurants, they spend money here. And that revenue flows directly back into the city's budget through the transient occupancy tax. So when we stand here asking for funding for youth centers, arts, and cultural programs, we are not asking for a handout. We are asking for reinvestment. Reinvestment to the very communities that are helping generate that revenue. Through our youth drop-in centers, we built spaces where young people find mentorship, stability, and direction. They learn workforce skills and they engage in cooking, culture, and care programs and reconnect with identity, history, and with a purpose.
Thank you. Melissa Hernandez?
What's up, y'all? My name is Cuba Mimi, aka Melissa Hernandez. I'm really emotional up here today because I'm looking at this young lady right here. She brings me memories. When I came out here with my parents, there was a youth drop-in center, and as soon as that youth drop-in center was closed, I joined the gang. We work really hard in the Stockton Memorial Mountain View. Todd, if you're watching this, don't think my tears is a sign of cowardness. I told you before, I'm not scared of you. I'm mad, I'm angry because all the money is getting put into places that don't even need that much money. Save us, save our youth, save our teens, save us. This is just observed that we got to keep coming up here begging for scraps. And I feel bad for all of y'all because y'all ain't got no money to even try to share. Todd, you need to change your ways. You really need to change your ways. I am so mad. I keep reminding you over and over. Hunger Games, bro.
Thank you. Devon Jones? Devon Jones? We can come back to you. Ramses? Or Ramses?
Hello, Council. First off, I want to say that, like everyone else, the money needs to be in the community, whether that's libraries, whether it's parks, whether it's the Office of Child and Youth Success. That specifically is a department that its entire purpose, its entire intention is to put money in the hands of the youth from wherever sources are needed. But for whatever reason, Todd Gloria just wants to cut it completely for no reason. And what we need to be looking at in this moment is that this is an entirely Democratic council, but Todd Gloria took his plays out of the Republican playbook. The same thing happened on the federal level. They put money into the federal immigration enforcement and took money away from parks, hospitals, schools, etc. And why is that okay? Why is it okay for us to keep taking money away from the people and putting it into Republican interests and pretending that it's not a Republican interest? I don't understand. Can any of you guys give me the answer to that? Are you a Republican or not? That's what the question that is going to be in this coming year.
Thank you. Kevin Vino? Kevin? And you'll be followed by Gustavo Candia, Nicole Lilly, and Alexandra Castillo.
Good evening, Council. I just want to start with saying I'm a resident of District 1, and I'm here to advocate for the Office of Youth Service and Success, OCYS. They only cost $350,000 for the city, but they bring in $3.5 million in grant-specific revenue that the city would not be able to collect otherwise if the budget was cut. Furthermore, with the libraries, we need to keep our libraries open because these offer after-school programs for families that are free of charge and are great for affordability in our city. And we don't want to see more money going to the SDPD. I know many council members have said that they did not want to decrease funding for SDPD, but right now we're increasing it. So if we could just not increase it by 14 million so that we can save other departments like our libraries and not be funding SDPD on the backs of working families so that citizens here are not begging for scraps over the budget. Thanks.
Thank you. Gustavo?
Hello, my name is Gustavo Candia and I belong to District 9. I'm here with Youth Will to comment on the mayor's proposed budget. The budget does a poor job at supporting the pending needs of our communities. It does the opposite by cutting essential important social infrastructure. We urge the council to not cut the Office of Child and Youth Success. It is an essential office in San Diego to ensure youth well-being. Youth deserves meaningful investments for their future. The future of OCYS is at risk. Funding allocated to this effort will have gone to waste, and potentially the city might need to return the 2 million federal grant. This is why I urge the city to maintain OCYS operational budget, the full 350K operating budget. This team has a great track record for supporting this city, bringing in federal funding and other grants, totaling 3.7 million in external revenue, oftentimes with a modest operating budget. Lastly, I'm here to remind you that youth do not only represent our future, as it is commonly said, but they represent our future now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole Lilly. And you'll be followed by Alexandra Castillo, Sadie Wheeler, and Sumaya.
Hello, my name is Nicole Lilly. I'm a 23-year-old renter, resident of District 3, and the executive director of Our Time to Act, a youth-led nonprofit organizing powerful youth for a more inclusive, equitable, and sustainable future. This is not my first budget season, so I know exactly what we'll keep hearing, that this is an extremely difficult budget year, that it's complicated. But what's not complicated is that divestment equals danger and death for our most vulnerable communities. What's not difficult to see is that year after year, this city pours the vast majority of its resources into the police and flock while continuously divesting from real public safety. Real public safety looks like a community where people aren't struggling to survive. It looks like investing in the Office of Child and Youth Success, drop-in centers, libraries, parks, art, and housing, investments that create stability, knowledge, nourishment, health, and the protection of trusted community. Every day, youth use their creativity to imagine a better future for ourselves and our neighbors. As you move forward in this budget season, I urge each of you to tap into your own creativity, reject the excuse of shortage, and cut from the most privileged, and design a budget that allows San Diegos to survive and thrive in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexandra?
Good evening, council members. My name is Alex Castillo. I'm a constituent from District 8 who is here with Youth Will, and I want you to know we do not agree with the current budget cuts proposed by Mayor Todd Gloria. Do not cut the Office of Child and Youth Success. Do not cut youth drop-in centers. Do not cut funding to our parks, recreation, and libraries. Do not cut our opportunities for success. When you do this, you diminish the line of trust between yourselves and the community you are employed to serve. The community, the very community that elected you to serve their interests. Police and surveillance are not public safety, they're public anxiety, and they're overextending themselves in Black and brown communities. The OCYS is safety. It facilitates youth in career development, educational opportunities, and they make sure that youth stay connected during stressful times. When you cut that and increase police, you betray us. I can't even go to my library on Mondays anymore, and that's ridiculous.
Thank you. Sadie Wheeler, please approach the lectern. You've been seated time by Aiden Hughes. If you could raise your hand, Aiden. Oh, we left. Okay. And then Jackson. Okay, so you'll have 2 minutes. Please begin.
Good evening. My name is Sadie Wheeler, and I serve as the chair of the Youth Commission. I'm here today with some of my fellow youth commissioners to follow up on the concerns we previously shared on the budget proposal and its disproportionate impact on youth in San Diego. We understand that the city is facing a $118 million deficit within a $6.4 billion budget. However, the scale and focus of the proposed cuts raise serious concerns about priorities. The Office of Child and Youth Success, which receives approximately $758,000 in funding, is roughly 0.5% of the deficit. While at the same time, other areas of the budget are seeing big increases, such as the police department receiving a $15 million increase and adding 19 new full-time positions. We understand the importance of police presence to make our city safe. However, we hope that the city will invest in youth services, safe spaces, and after-school programs that contribute to preventing young people from entering the system in the first place. In addition to the concerns we previously raised about libraries and the parks and recreation, we want to emphasize the cumulative impact of these decisions. The proposed $6.3 million in library cuts and reduced access to recreation spaces further limit the already shrinking number of safe environments available to young people. Cuts to youth services also undermine existing commitments the city has made. The Positive Youth Development Plan, approved in July 2024, cannot be effectively implemented without infrastructure and coordination that OCYS provides. Similarly, reduced access to parks and community centers make it more difficult to achieve the goals of Measure H related to childcare access. While the savings from cutting youth services may appear immediate, they are relatively small in comparison to the overall budget and come at the expense of long-term investment in San Diego's young people. These decisions signal that youth are not being prioritized at a time when they need it the most. We urge the council to reconsider these cuts and to recognize that investing in youth is essential to the future and success of young people in our city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So Maya, please approach the lectern. You'll be followed by Nikhil, Heidi Erlickson, and Ada Palayo.
Good evening, my name is Sumaya Fazil. I'm from District 7 with Udall. Please take a moment to look back to your flag behind you. It represents the people of the city and many of those who are not here, who are here. And we are the ones who pay tax dollars for the budget, and we ask you to hear us, people. Please do not cut OCIS. If funding is the issue, there are other options. The city can use money from gold, gold funds, reduce spending on police for special events, or instead of spending 1.5 million on flood contracts, the city could use that money for programs that directly help people like youth services, libraries, parks, and community supports. Cutting OCIS would hurt people, and we should invest in youth, not take support away. Thank you.
Thank you. Nikhil, please approach the lectern.
Some people reserve time.
You have time seated to you? Okay, we can get their name if you'd like. Is it one other person? Two other, can they raise their hand right now and we'll get them speaker slips and make sure we don't repeat? They need to be here in the room. I see one hand raised. Do you know if they're still here? Okay, we will get speaker slips, so you'll have 3 minutes. You can begin.
Okay.
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Nikhil Plutner Booker. I'm a junior at San Diego High School. Earlier this year, I had the distinct pleasure of meeting the mayor, where he spoke with me in the Aaron Price Fellows Program on civic participation in our city. I asked him a question. Mayor Gloria, you have advocated for increased police department spending in the city budget. How do you balance supporting policing with community programs and institutions that also help to address crime in the city? His response, in the San Diego City Charter, public safety is our #1 priority, and I will always, during my tenure, abide by that principle. The underlying assumption in his response is that funding the police department is the only way in which the city government can abide by its pledge to effectively reduce crime rates. You are considering, in the upcoming budget, slashing funding for the Office of Child and Youth Success, housing programs, libraries, etc. This all in a necessary attempt to address our deficit. And yet you are considering to increase spending for the police at the expense of these other crucial social programs. This tactic does not actually help to keep communities safe. It is like a doctor prescribing all of these drugs and medications to help alleviate the symptom of a given disease without actually managing to address the root cause of the illness. Police do not solve the problem, they manage the problem. What I wish I told the mayor then, and what I'm saying to you now, is that abiding by the city charter's commitment to public safety is going to require funding the Office of Child and Youth Success and other important programs that improve educational equity and therefore prospective financial security, which will likely improve crime rates. The tactic historically used by governments, both at the federal, state, and local level, to address budget deficits is austerity. But I would like to urge you all not to take this traditional approach. Austerity, if anything, is terrible for public safety, as poverty is a root cause of crime. I ask that you consider other ways to address the city's deficit that is not at the expense of the most vulnerable in society. Passing this budget would hurt the youth of San Diego especially, as it eliminates funding for the Office of Youth and Child Success. If you truly want to address the deficit and public safety, invest more in programs that address financial instability and educational inequality instead of funding the police to deal with the setbacks of austerity. I urge you to work on the deficit and support public safety in a way that keeps in mind the most vulnerable in society. Moving funding away from public programs to fund policing does not support the deficit, nor does it support public safety. And so I ask that instead you work to preserve the important community institutions that provide enormous support to public safety and support the lives of San Diego's most vulnerable. Thank you.
Thank you. Heidi Ulrichsen, and you'll be followed by Ada Palayo and Marianne Hinojosa.
Good evening. I'm Heidi Ulrichsen, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Office for Youth and Children. Youth are our future, and it is imperative that they are given the tools to ensure their success. Cutting the Office of Child and Youth Services does the exact opposite of this and sends a clear message about the city's priorities. This office is the culmination of years of work to help promote the future of our youth. It provides educational and economic resources to many underserved groups, and its impact on youth and society is priceless. Please protect our youth and our future. Do not cut the Office of Child and Youth Services so we may promote a better future and in our society. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada. And you've been seated time by Kimberly. If you could raise your hand, Kimberly. Thank you. So you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Aida. I'm a student at UC San Diego, and I'm first generation. I'm here with Youthville today to ask you guys, please do not cut OCYS. It has been around for over 20 years, various parents and teachers who worked hard to fight for our city. And youth and children across San Diego deserve real respect, real investment. To restore strong leaderships is a big thing that I think should be enforced. OCYS needs a director who is there when big city decisions are being made. Keeping the full $350,000 for the operating budget is incredibly important, as OCYS already brings in around $3 million from outside funding and grants, and keeping staff in support for employing interns. I also want to say that investing less in surveillance and more in youth programs like OCYS, youth drop-in centers, and libraries is incredibly important. As a student, me and various other students are negatively impacted from our studies with the lack of help. So please do not cut OCYS, and please choose San Diego's youth and family and children. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne Hinojosa, and you'll be followed by Claire Snyder, Brian Castillo, and Carmen Penalosa Valdez.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mariana Hinojosa, District 9, and here with Youthville. The Office of Child and Youth Success operates on about $350,000, yet has helped secured over $3.7 million in external funding, more than a 10-to-1 return. This includes $2 million for childcare expansion and $1.3 million for refugee student programs, investments that support hundreds of families and students across the city. Childcare already costs San Diego families about $17,000 per year. Reductions in coordination and expansion will further limit access and increase costs. OCYS is also responsible for advancing over 85 actions in the Child and Youth Master Plan. This is not a cost reduction. It risks millions in funding and reduces service capacity. I urge you to maintain the $350,000 budget and retain OCYS as an independent office. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Snyder.
Good evening, Council. My name is Claire Snyder, and I'm here with Youthville. I'm also a resident of District 3. Children and youth deserve support and prioritization through their development into adulthood. You've heard a lot about people talking about library services, parks and rec, and the arts, and the Office of Child and Youth Success, and all of these things are necessary for young people to be able to thrive in San Diego. The mayor said that he is eliminating the Office of Child and Youth Success to keep the Do Your Homework program at the library, which is a super important program, but that only serves one aspect of a young person's life. OCYS, in their child and youth plan that you all approved to be adopted, tackles issues going from childcare to youth workforce development to youth empowerment to make sure that young people have a voice at the city. And it's imperative that we do not eliminate this office. If you are looking at where you could get some money, you could take away from surveillance and invest that back into the communities. Thank you.
Brian Castillo. Brian Carmen, please approach selection. You've been seated time by Patricia Serrano. If you could please raise your hands, you'll have 2 minutes, and you'll be followed by Tristan Beery.
Okay. Hello, my name is Carmen and I'm a resident of District 9. I serve as the policy and research intern at YouthWill. In old city council archived meetings that I've been reviewing from 2021, it seems like you all were super excited and on the same page about the Office of Child and Youth Success. But now that it is about to be cut, I haven't seen many council members directly state their commitment to vouching for OCYS or really publicly like speaking about it in the media or really like caring about it and essentially. We finally had a dedicated space solely for us youth and that we could for sure lean on because it was for us and actually listened to us and our needs. I've heard a bunch of council members talk about how the budget is a statement and a representation of the morals and values of our city. Which is true. So this is a time where we demand that you all truly take action in youth prioritization and not just speak about it. Public safety doesn't come from funding the police. Who knows how many millions of dollars every single year. I'm tired of seeing every single time I walk out of my apartment, it's like more police officers every single time, and they're everywhere. And it's anxiety inducing because of the current attacks that my community is facing as a Hispanic woman and to other communities of color. We don't want to be patrolled. I want to see places like my old high school, for example, being able to run their art programs, an office for youth like me and younger to go talk to someone that cares about their future and that wants us to actually go into a career that we care about and that we're actually passionate about, not just being pushed into traditional career pathways and then end up in debt and then we can't even find a job. So that's really annoying. So yeah, and I think we just deserve better. And I urge the city to restore the director level leadership for OCYS, maintain the operational budget of the full 350,000, retain the OCYS and prioritize employee and empower interns, and also use the flock contract money to actually fund all of this because it's creepy and it's weird.
Thank you. Tristan Beery, you'll be followed by Liliana Soriano Garista, Diana Gonzalez, and Melvin Luma Dewey. If you could please make your way to the front of the room.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tristan Beery, and I am the youth organizer at YouthWill. In the mayor's proposed budget, he is eliminating the Office of Child and Youth Success. He maintains that the operating budget can't be justified under the current deficit, all while ignoring the massive amount of grant funding the office has brought in. OCYS recently was successful in helping obtain a $2 million grant for the implementation of Measure H as a means of bringing childcare to local parks and recreation centers, a grant that we risk losing without careful monitoring by the office. They also collaborated with the largest school district in the region, San Diego Unified, to secure a notable $1.7 million grant, and specifically for programs serving refugee students. OCYS has done all of this while also running workshops that resulted in hundreds of young people now understanding the representatives are along with the main functionalities the city of San Diego is responsible for. They have done this while also serving as crucial support for the city's youth commission, a vital advisory body which ensures young voices are heard in the decision-making process. We can fund these youth services, libraries, and other crucial departments by canceling our contract with Flock. You don't need youth surveillance when they are in the libraries doing their homework. Thank you.
Thank you. Liliana Soriano.
Hello, Budget Committee. My name is Liliana Soriano. I am the Director of Policy at YouthWill, and my organization is also a member of the Community Budget Alliance. Today, we are asking you all to invest in youth because thriving communities are safe communities, and one way that San Diego can become that is to ensure that OCYS is fully staffed, funding is maintained, and reject the mayor's proposal to eliminate the vital role that this office plays into the social infrastructure that we have for the improvement of youth education, workforce, and other essential needs such as childcare. Our community parks and libraries also need to be funded. Today, I urge you to include OCYS in your memos and reject Todd's budget proposal. Fund OCYS, the youth drop-in centers and libraries with the FLOG contract, which is a $1.5 million contract, enough to fund all of those asks. Fund Parks and Rec cuts with revenue from the golf fund without any operational impacts to the city's golf course. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana Gonzalez, please approach the lectern. I apologize about that. Margarita, please approach the lectern, and you've been seated time by the following individuals if they can raise it. Are you Margarita?
Yes.
Okay.
But there's one person that left, so I have someone else ceding their time.
Okay, we'll get their name, but I'll just call the following, if you don't mind. Abigail Franco, Abigail, and then Paola. Paola, thank you. And Laura? Is Laura here? Okay, so 4 minutes, and then you'll have an additional person who is going to see their time, so 5 minutes?
No, I think I'm good with 4.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
I
thank you.
apologize about that, thank you.
Good evening, members of City Council. My name is Margarita Malave, and with me is Abby Franco. We are here on behalf of the families of Our Lady School and Our Lady of Angels Catholic Church in Sherman Heights. We are asking for something very basic, a stop sign, a school zone sign, and visible crosswalks at G Street and 24th Street. Right now, G Street feels like a racetrack. This is a long stretch of road that leads straight to the freeway. Every person who steps off the curb is taking a risk. We have seen what happens. I'm going to go in chronological order. This crash happened on October 2015. Most of them are hit and runs. Then you have May 2022. You have April 2023. And in November, a man on a bicycle was hit and the driver left him there. He didn't report it to the police because he was undocumented. On December 2024, a car ran into Rebecca's home at 2421 G Street. Her fence was completely demolished. And then on September 2025, a car sped out of control, turning the opposite direction. And then this one just happened last week. Last Monday, there was a baby car seat in the back. This keeps happening and nothing changes. Just across the freeway on F Street, a similar street has a stop sign. 2 blocks away at Sherman Elementary School, there are signs, speed bumps, and stop signs. But here, where our children and parishioners walk every day, there is nothing. Our church and school have been here since 1912, and we only received our first visible school sign in 2024. That is not just an oversight, that is a pattern. This neighborhood was once redlined, labeled hazardous, not because of safety, but because of who lived here. Black and brown families who are simply trying to build a life, raise their children, and belong. And you can still feel that today. Families here live with fear every single day they use G Street. On Sundays, over 1,300 people cross that street to attend Mass. During the week, hundreds of parents and children cross it for school. These should be moments of peace, walking your child to school, going to church, celebrating life events. Instead, people are scared. In just 3 days, nearly 1,000 people signed our petition. We also have support from the Southeastern Planning Group, and we cannot ignore what has happened in other communities, like Andrew Olson, a child who never made it to school. His mother's cries should live in all of us so that we never forget how precious a life is. We do not want to stand here one day in grieving a life that could have been saved. These are your children. These are your families. You took an oath to serve and protect them. Please don't forget about us.
She also has time. Yep, there's 1 minute remaining.
My name is Laura Jimenez, and I take care of building of state unions right at the corner of 24 and G. I sweep off the sidewalk and part of the pave where the car is parked. And I have to be walking back with a broom because I have to be watching the cars away, how they overspeed every day. And I'm over there every day from 6:30 to 11 o'clock. It depends because I clean up quarter of the block from 24th Street to G Street and half of the block from G Street to the 24. It's a 10-unit building, and I'm very scared for me because lately it's been very, a lot of crashes in the cars that they're parked over there. And I have to be in between the cars cleaning up the mess that the people from Jack in the Box are eating, literally open the door and just drop off all the bags from the food or the fries that they don't need.
Thank you. This does conclude
So,
your time. Thank you.
We need a very, very stop sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Diana?
Good evening, council members. My name is Diana Gonzalez, and I'm a resident of District 8. I'm here to ask for consideration of a simple investment that will make a real difference in public safety, adding a stop sign or similar traffic calming measures on G Street to protect the children of Our Lady School. Families gather there all week long, morning, noon, and night for school and community activities, yet G Street, which runs alongside the campus, has minimal traffic control, despite functioning as a one-way connector between the 5 and 94 freeways, bringing higher speeds, heavier traffic, and a history of accidents. Children are crossing and walking along a street designed for throughput, not safety. Just 2 blocks away, Sherman Elementary, located in a calm residential area, has 6 stop signs and 2 speed bumps. That contrast is hard to ignore. If anything, Our Lady School on G Street demands equal or greater protection, not less. This is about aligning infrastructure with reality. When children and family are consistently entering and exiting campus along a busy feeder route, basic traffic
This does
controls are not
conclude your time.
optional, they're essential.
Thank you. Melvin, if you can please approach the lectern.
Sure. Hi, my name is Melvin. I'm a resident in Sherman Heights. I've been there for like 15 years, and the times I witnessed firsthand how cars would speed along G Street. We mentioned there's a school there, there's a church there. That's my car right there. So in 2023, a young man, 18 years old, was speeding, distracted, whatever. He wasn't intoxicated, but he did hit my car. And so that becomes an additional burden and expense on the resident. And I'm sure you guys are very aware of how it is hard to balance a budget. And so these unexpected expenses can be prevented by placing a stop sign, placing some markings on the street so that the drivers that go down the street have a pause between 22nd and 25th. So please consider the safety of your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Ron Montoya? And you'll be followed by Rebecca Scott and Judy Harrington.
Good evening. My name is Ron Montoya, and I'm here today as a resident, educator, and concerned community member. I'm asking for immediate action to install a stop sign and a marked crosswalk at the intersection of 24th and G Street, directly across from Our Lady's Church. Right now, the street functions more like a freeway off-ramp than a residential road. Cars race through without slowing. This is not a hypothetical concern. We are seeing the consequences. There is, on an average, about 1 crash per month. My own car was totaled on the street. More importantly, children are crossing here every day without safe infrastructure. It's only a matter of time before someone is seriously injured. My car can be replaced, but a child's life cannot. Thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca Scott? Oh, okay. Judy Harrington?
Good evening. I'm president of Kensington Fire Safe Council. As many of you know, over 80% of our fires start near encampments. We had this just yesterday was found by one of our litter pickers, burnt tree, and all around it is burnt in our canyon. I'm here to ask you to please not further cut the positions from the fire department. The positions you already cut have been hard enough. Our fire safe councils work really hard to try to make our community safer. This burning was less than half a mile from the Montezuma fire that happened in Halloween of 2024. So we're doing a lot of work, volunteer, and the fire department helps us and supports us in doing that. And it feels like a real kind of a slap in the face when you take away the community resource officers that really help us and support us and help us to get extra brush out of our canyons and help us deal with the encampments that are causing fires. So we're really asking you on behalf of the 25 fire safe councils right here in the city of San Diego not to cut those positions further. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mary Soriano?
Oh, am I next?
Would you like to go?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Mary Soriano, President of La Jolla Town Council, 900 pages. That's what the mayor's budget proposal asks this community to absorb, designed to dismantle the services that hold our city together. We are tired of chasing cuts, but we grow stronger in numbers and our voice will be heard. 9 criteria used to justify closing our rec centers. We never saw that survey. We heard today our communities are already carrying the load, volunteering, fundraising, showing up. Cutting more doesn't just hurt us, it taps us out. The city has failed at preventative maintenance. San Diego Fire Rescue cannot sustain another round of cuts like what this mayor imposed last year. It's not a matter of when, of if, it's a matter of when San Diego is on fire. Will the mayor and each council member be held accountable? The people of this city are watching. We are engaged, and we will remember every vote cast against our safety and community.
Thank you. Emmanuel, please approach the lectern and you'll be followed by Marisol.
Good evening, council members. My name is Emmanuel Franco. I am a student and a parisher at Our Lady of Angels Church. During school drop-off in the morning, my mom, Abigail, stands at the intersection of G and 24th Street. She holds out a stop and slow sign voluntarily while wearing a reflective safety vest. We need that stop sign on the intersection because when my mom holds out the slow sign, the cars move to the other lane and speed up, ignoring her completely. Cars have also been seen going the wrong way or making U-turns. These actions are done even though G Street is a one-way street. So if we could please get a stop sign and or any safety measures for safety of my school and our parish. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Marisol?
Buenas noches. My name is Marisol. I am a community member, and I urge you to take preventive measures to protect our comunidad, especially our children and our ancianos, our viejitos. G Street and F Streets divided by, which is divided by the freeway, 94 freeway, are two streets that are very similar. They pretty much mirror each other. Yet F Street has been able to obtain a stop sign not too long ago. We live the discrepancies created by the destruction of our community through gentrification, and that's the reality. On the other side of the freeway, G Street, it encompasses a more lively scenery with a school and a parish, but without any safety, opening up that street as a racetrack. This particular intersection is where students and familias gather from Monday to Sunday. And at this intersection, you also see families dropping off and picking up their children.
Thank you.
Let's not wait for a fatal tragedy to take action. Please serve the community.
Thank you. Rebecca Scott, please approach the lectern and you'll be followed by Samantha Castronovo, Patricia McFadden, and Gabriela Sosa. Is Rebecca Scott here? Okay, Samantha?
Good evening. My name is Samantha Castronovo, and I urge you to fully fund libraries, parks, rec centers. I urge you to not fund Flock and do not fund any electronic surveillance. And if you must, take it to a public vote before you do, because it's clear that many are uncomfortable with it at minimum. I also strongly urge you to fully fund the City of San Diego Fire and Rescue at the 2026 funding level with no cuts. There's been some confusion, and I also hope that you find a way to clarify that to the public so they can have fully informed consent in responding to it.
Thank you. Patricia McFadden, if you can approach the lectern, you'll be followed by Gabriela Sosa, Paul Suppa, and Mercedes. Is Patricia here? Okay, we'll go to Gabriela. And you've been seated time by Julia. Julia, can you raise your hand? Thank you. So you'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Gabriela Sosa. I'm an actor, interpreter, and business owner, and I live and vote in District 3. If we cut what keeps people well, we will pay more for what happens when they become unwell. When we talk about mission critical budget priorities, we must start with reality. According to climate science, we have until the end of this decade to significantly reduce CO2. Without a livable planet, every other line item, it becomes secondary. We all agree that addressing homelessness is urgent, but I urge you not to balance that priority by cutting funding to Parks and Rec Department and our libraries and arts and culture programming. These are not expendable. They are preventative investments in mental health, community cohesion, and public safety. I'm speaking from personal experience. Through San Diego Civic Dance Arts programs offered through Parks and Recs, I was able to integrate into the city, build community, and stay engaged in something healthy and positive. San Diego's arts sector is a major driver in tourism and local spending. Weakening it would only be a step backward, not just culturally, but economically. If we are serious about fiscal responsibility, we should also look at smart enforcement of existing laws as revenue stream. For example, our municipal code already includes decibel limits, yet enforcement is inconsistent, empowering parking enforcement personnel to cite excessive noise violations such as modified mufflers or leaf blowers would reduce pollution and improve quality of life and generate revenue. In closing, please protect funding for parks, recs, library, and the arts. These are cheaper than emergency rooms, jails, and shelters. The cost of prevention is always lower than the cost of neglect. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul? And you'll be followed by Mercedes, Stacy Duarte, and Cesar Lopez, if you could make your way to the front of the room.
Good evening, City Council. It's been a long day. Thank you for being here. My name is Paul Supa. I'm a resident of District 2, a California attorney for 26 years, and I'm on the ballot for District 2. It's good to see my seats open there, ready. The police budget is twice the national average, so I urge you to fact check me on that. The budget is 32.5%. The national average is 16.6%. So in 2027, it's proposed to spend $718 million. You already raised it in 2025, 30 million. You raised it over 30 million in 2026, and now you're raising it in 2027. How dare you gut the arts, close down our libraries. It is unacceptable to close the Neil Good Day Center. We deserve better. The people are being squeezed by this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Mercedes? Mercedes? Okay, Stacy Duarte. Stacy?
Good evening. My name is Stacy Duarte, and I am a San Diego resident of Council District 8. I'm here tonight to ask the council to reject the elimination of the Office of Child and Youth Success and for the funding to be restored. I am a mother. I have witnessed and experienced the benefits of these programs for my children. They have equipped and strengthened our future generations with skills they need for life while being a safe place for them to retreat to. When children have support, their parents have support, and communities succeed. Everyone wins. Please do not remove these programs from children and their communities. Do not remove a child's hope and stability. Please preserve the Office of Child and Youth Success in San Diego. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Cesar Lopez? And you'll be followed by Tatiana Butte and Jess Rodriguez.
Good evening, council members. My name is Cesar Lopez, representing District 7, and I work as a professional bartender here in San Diego. In my job, I see the heartbeat of the city every night. I see the people who rely on the arts and the culture scene, the industry that makes San Diego a place people actually want to visit and live in. Slashing arts and culture by 85% doesn't just hurt the arts. It guts the livelihood of hospitality workers like me who depend on a thriving, vibrant city. But I'm also here as someone who sees the human struggle in our community. I am asking you to protect the opioid settlement funds for the LGBT Center. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They represent the friends and neighbors I see every day who are fighting for their lives. High impact affirming treatment is the only thing keeping many of them afloat. Finally, we cannot find millions for increases elsewhere while cutting $800,000 from our children. Please show us that you value our people, our culture, and our future. Reject these cuts. Thank you.
Thank you. Tatiana?
Good evening. My name is Tatiana. I'm a longtime resident of Council District 4, and I am currently a graduate student at Georgetown University. First, we need to invest in green infrastructure. I witnessed firsthand the devastation of January 2024. of the floods inflicted on my community. While completing my honors thesis at UC Berkeley, I did my thesis on the floods in real time. While seeing the budgetary deficits and neglect towards my community and the impacted communities that suffered, while watching as my father fought for his life in the aftermath of the floods as he helped community members through the polluted floodwaters. Now, 2 years later, we still have not adequately addressed the deteriorating infrastructure, displacement of families, and residents who had been exposed to polluted floodwaters. I see no investment in green infrastructure or in the city's infrastructure. This was a preventable compound disaster. Second, the council must reject the elimination of OCYS. Eliminating the office removes critical infrastructure.
Thank you. Jess Rodriguez, and you'll be followed by the following, if they can please come to the front of the room. Gabby Ryan, Dylan Sunday, Anthony Moreno del Angel, and Chantal Paul. Please come to the front of the room.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jess Rodriguez, and I'm a San Diego resident of Council District 3. For a city that is so incredibly culturally vibrant and driven by the arts, an 85% drop in funding from $13.8 million down to only $2 million is incredibly disappointing and quite frankly infuriating. Living in the Hillcrest community, I see firsthand how impactful and beautiful organizations like San Diego Pride and the LGBTQ Center are. Not only these, but we have the Old Globe Theater, Comic-Con, and local neighborhood festivals, to name a few. And as an artist and musician myself, I know that these are integral parts of our city and keep it alive. They are not luxuries that can just be thrown away and discarded. These are community anchors and lifelines. Thank you.
Thank you. Gabby Ryan.
I'm going to add one more minute. I'm seated.
Did an individual see time? Okay, we'll get a speaker slip from you. So 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Gabby, and I'm a San Diego resident from District 8 and currently reside in District 9. As an active volunteer for San Diego Pride, myself and a UCSD pharmacy student leader focus on substance use disorder and harm reduction, our funding issues are deeply personal to me. I'm here today to ask you to protect funding for the San Diego LGBT Community Center substance use disorder treatment programs. As an identifying member of the LGBT community, it's frustrating to see life-saving opioid settlement funds being redirected away from people that need them the most. LGBTQ individuals, especially youth and trans individuals, are disproportionately affected by substance use and mental health challenges. Programs at the center are working. They're evidence-based, culturally competent, and they're saving lives. Taking that funding away now feels like a step backwards. I'm additionally concerned about the proposed cuts to San Diego arts and culture. These spaces aren't just nice to have. They're where people find connection, identity, and community. For the LGBTQ community, affirming cultural spaces like San Diego Pride are more than just events. They're essential sources of support and belonging. Please vote to protect LGBTQ affirming substance use disorder treatment and to restore arts and culture funding in San Diego. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dylan Sunday, and you'll be followed by Anthony, Chantal Paul, and Drew Blossom.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dylan Sunday, and I'm a resident of Council District 3 and a student pharmacist at UCSD. As a resident of Hillcrest neighborhood, I have seen firsthand the life-saving impact of social programs like the LGBTQ Center through their harm reduction efforts and community building. The funding that they and other vital programs receive from our current budget is essential, and to cut it in favor of an inflating police budget would be doing a disservice to every citizen of San Diego. Moreover, slashing 85% of the arts and culture funding with this proposed budget will end up hurting us more than it would help, with it destroying so many great community events that bring in money to our local economy. San Diego's cultural center sector generated $1.2 billion in total economic activity in 2022. Perhaps instead of taking away from every service that makes San Diego so great, we look at cutting the inflating police budget instead. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anthony Moreno del Angel. Anthony? Chantel Paul? Okay. Drew Blossom? And you'll be followed by Jordan Jacobo and Marcia Buckstein. If you could please make your way to the front of the room.
Good evening, council members. My name is Drew Blossom, and I am a resident of District 3.
I'm here to request the reallocation of funds, $300,000 from the opiate settlement funds to be reallocated to the San Diego LGBT Center's Substance Use Disorder Treatment Program, as well as additional funds to be reallocated from the police to libraries, arts, and youth services. As a public school teacher, I'd like to let you all know that our schools keep naloxone on site, as students also struggle with substance use disorders. The current budget funds those who would incarcerate and criminalize these students, disrupting their education and putting them on a track of hardship rather than support. Please fund kids, not cops, and reallocate these funds to the programs like the Center's treatment program to help them receive the help they need, as well as to arts, library, and everything else to help
Thank you.
them.
Thank you. Jordan?
Good evening. My name is Jordan Jacobo. In a recent interview, Mayor Gloria said that one of the toughest parts of developing his recent budget proposal was having to say no to your friends. But proposing the almost nearly complete elimination of funding for arts and culture is not the act of a friend. Now, I understand that many of you are going to have some very tough decisions to make in the coming weeks. So, as a supporter of the arts and as an artist myself, it is my sincere hope that our community has friends among the City Council. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And if the following individuals can please come to the front. Marcia, if you could please approach the lectern, you'll be followed by Kat Zegas and Kristen Tenney. If you can please come to the front of the room.
Hi, I've been a cellist almost my entire life, letting my cello speak for me. Thanks to comedy improv, I am able to be here in front of you, shaking inside, but it's wonderful to see your wonderful, albeit very tired faces. I know you've been here since 9 a.m. I don't even know what performance analytics is. I know what performance is. I want to encourage you to defeat this budget. It hurts people so badly. Comedy improv with laughter changes people's lives, creates community, creates love, creates understanding. I believe that comedy improv can solve all the problems in this world because of the creativity. I want to know when the last time you laughed was. I'm hoping it was sometime today, but I have my doubts. Please support the arts. They deserve it. We all deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Kate? Is it Kate or Kat Zegas? Sorry, I can't.
That's okay. Hi, my name is Kate Zegans. I'm a resident of District 3. I'm calling on the council to reject the mayor's proposed budget. Instead, cut funding to police surveillance technology and reallocate that funding to essential services, parks, libraries, youth programs, and more. In 2023, despite community outcry, the city pledged $2 million a year to expand their network of surveillance cameras. This includes the contract with Flock. Flock has shared San Diegans' location data with ICE in service of their sadistic campaign of deportation and detention. Further, ALPR surveillance is not an effective tool of public safety. The police's own reporting shows ALPR has helped in just 0.177% of cases, 2 million for 0.177%. This, on top of 15 million in additional funding for SDPD, means this budget prioritizes building a surveillance state over essential health and recreation services that make our city livable. Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Tenney, and you'll be followed by the following: Amy Kennemore, Janine Kromka, Greg Hester, and Danielle Gomez. If you could please come to the front of the room.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen. I am a resident of District 9 in City Heights, and I'm part of a group of neighbors who's dedicated to keeping our community safe called City Heights Defense Committee. We typically work with our immigrant neighbors who have been facing extreme fear because of the terror of DHS and ICE. But recently, they've also experienced fear because they are worried about being surveilled 24/7. They are worried about going to the park, taking their kids with them, driving around the neighborhood, going to grocery stores, because they know the data will be used against them in some way that will harm them ultimately. Data does not imply dignity, and surveillance does not imply safety. I urge you to cancel the contract with Flock and instead use the money for the exact thing you are meant to lead, which is the people. If you cannot afford to support the people with the arts, libraries, parks, cultural events, and community support mechanisms, then you cannot afford to do a contract with Flock. Thank you.
Thank you. Amy Kennemore?
Good evening. My name is Amy, and I'm a member of my lecturers union UCFT, and I'm also a member of the City Heights Defense Committee in District 9, working with Kristen. As they described, we work with a lot of our community members to help support everyone. We keep each other safe, but also we're working a lot with immigrant and refugee neighbors, many who are already facing harm by over-policing inequitable policies, and now are being made more vulnerable as programs such as DACA and TPS are under a political attack. There's a lot of uncertainty in these times, but there's some things that we know that are clear. We know what safety means for our communities, and that does not include surveillance technology that brings harm. We know Flock is a dangerous company to work with as they share data to federal agencies, including ICE and DHS. We know that acts across the country, other cities, are shutting down these systems because the risk outweigh the benefits, and that you can and should absolutely do the same. Indeed, we also know that clause 3.3 in the Ubiqua Flock contract says that if the city does not have enough funds to pay for it, and right now you do not, you can terminate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Janine, please approach the lectern. You'll be followed by Greg, Daniela Gomez, Daniel Munns, and Johnny Charming. If you can please come to the front of the room.
Hello, good evening. My name is Janine Krumka. I use she, her, they pronouns. I am a resident of District 3, and I also work at UC San Diego as an academic advisor for undergraduate level students. I'm here just to say that I adamantly oppose any budget that you are going to pass that is going to raise the revenue for cops and policing while lowering the revenue for any sort of arts, library funding that community actually uses. It's clear that the police are not here to keep us safe. I'm just going to say that right now. They're here as a reactive measure. So I understand we need police, but we do not need to raise their budget, and you need to keep the arts. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg?
Good evening. My name is Greg Hester. I am a queer disabled combat veteran, and I work at UC San Diego, and I'm a proud UAW member and a resident of District 9. The San Diego Police Department does not need an increased budget. And if Mayor Todd Gloria wants to march in pride this year, he should wear a shirt that says hypocrite. Thank you.
Thank you. Danielle Gomez?
Hello, my name is Danielle. I live and vote in District 9. I'm a part of the City Heights Defense Committee, and I'm a community mental health work student. We work closely with our neighbors, including immigrants and refugee neighbors who are already facing harm due to ICE and DHS. Our community is unjustly underfunded and underrepresented in this budget. Community wellness and safety does not come from surveillance, the police, and cutting essential programs. It comes from community care and resourcing. As you have overwhelmingly heard from speakers today that represent many orgs and communities, this budget does not meet our needs or represent us. Technologies like Flock harm our communities. They share data with federal agencies, including ICE and DHS. We have seen serious violations of oversight, transparency, and unauthorized access with these technologies without any accountability. We have seen documented accounts of police stalking romantic partners using this technology. This is unacceptable. Everyone is harmed by these surveillance systems, especially women, LGBTQIA+ members, immigrants, youth, and more, who are our pillars of our community.
Thank you. Thank you. This does conclude your time. Daniel Munns? Daniel?
Good evening. I'm Daniel Munns, fellow city council. I'm here with the LGBTQ Center, and we're here talking about the budget. None of us are happy about the budget. Your guys' whole job is to serve the people, and you can see that people are not happy. And the budget cuts that you guys are cutting, like the substance disorder use that the LGBTQ does, gives amazing treatment, and it's saving lives. Instead of cutting budgets to save lives, we should be cutting budgets for things like surveillance and over-policing marginalized groups like LGBTQ members and other people. Do the right thing, City Council.
Thank you. Johnny, please approach the lectern. You've been seated time by OSHA. OSHA Towers? OSHA? Oh, thank you. Still have 2 minutes.
All right. Hi, my name is Johnny. I'm a resident of District 3. Earlier this morning, I spoke to all of you about the self-destructive cycle in this budget. Good to see you all again. I'm back tonight with the solutions. We're facing a $118 million budget deficit. The proposed response cuts arts, libraries, rec centers, and park access, while the only departments getting more money are police and fire, like everyone's been saying. We're defunding everything that keeps our people connected, creative, and well, and spending more to manage what happens when they're not. That's a self-destructive cycle. Other cities faced the same math. They didn't just do haircuts to departments till they're bald. They asked a different question. What results do we want for our citizens? And then they funded what actually works. 1, Fort Collins ties every dollar to measurable community results, paired with voter-approved, dedicated funding for parks and culture. Voters have renewed it every time since 1973. 2, Vancouver, Washington passed a 0.1% cultural access tax, $7 million a year for arts, libraries, and heritage, unanimously. 3, Los Angeles is modernizing hotel tax collection from online platforms right now. San Diego's hotel tax growth has slowed to 1.5%. We should be doing the same as LA. And San Diego's own sales tax measure failed by less than 1 point in 2024. A narrowly targeted measure for parks, libraries, and arts could pass. Combined, these models could generate $80 million to $100 million annually, and that's in the range of the $118 million deficit. This is not wishful thinking, it's proven math from cities that chose differently. I've sent each of you already this morning the detailed models today via email. I welcome discussion with each and every one of you to close the deficit gap without eroding the very fabric of the city. Alternatives are possible and attainable. We just need you to come to the table and invest in what keeps our people connected, creative, and well. Let's be better than an all cuts budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Alexis Randolph. Alexis, you'll be next, and you'll be followed by Travis Bouchard, Jared Osonia, and Adriana Chavez. Is Alexis here? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alexis Randolph. I've been a resident of San Diego for nearly 40 years in District 9. This is my first public meeting. I came here today to tell you directly that I am not satisfied with the job that the city is doing, especially the mayor, and to ask that you reject this budget and listen to your constituents. The proposed budget cut to the arts and culture program is a disgrace. I used to work as a professional stage manager in San Diego, and I can tell you firsthand that art organizations cannot cover their operating costs without external funding, including from the city. Under your leadership, sadly, San Diego is rapidly becoming a city that I no longer want to live in. However, I am inspired here today by the people telling you that the budget is unacceptable and clearly explaining exactly what they need. They also bring to you real solutions. What I'm not hearing is anyone telling you that this budget is okay. That silence speaks volumes. This is not a budget for the people. Also, now I'm curious which one of you are going to call the head of Get It Done and have a stop sign placed at G and 24th. You guys have a department for this, and you have the ability to make real change. Please listen to us. Modify this budget, fund the arts, make San Diego a place we want to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Travis? Is Travis Bouchard here? Jared?
Good evening, Council. Hi, Raul. I'm happy to be back here to be the voice of San Diego Ballet and to be one of the many voices that you've heard today from my peers and my elders to speak about the inequities in the mayor's proposed budget. San Diego Ballet helps the community of San Diego that we proudly call home through free ballet classes and performance opportunities to underserved communities in City Heights and San Isidro besides the entire San Diego region. These free classes are funded by grants from the city. In our application to the city, they asked the question, how will we contribute to San Diego's national and international reputation as a cultural destination? And I'd like to ask the city council the same question. How will we have a cultural destination if we have no money for the arts in this city? Will cutting arts funding contribute to that cultural destination? Arts create thriving communities, and thriving communities are safe ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Adriana Chavez, and you'll be followed by Kenneth Klittich, Anthony DeMeglio, Tazheen Nizam and John Brady.
Good evening, everyone. I noticed that my district's council member is not here, and neither is Mayor Todd Gloria. Everyone was here a couple weeks ago, but I know it's later than the previous meeting. I actually showed up at 2 p.m. thinking it was going to be at the same time, but anyway. I've noticed that as the library hours get cut, people in the community simply aren't aware of these changes a lot of the time, and they still show up to the library seeking different services. And I see members of library patrons, just general community that don't visit the library often, but when they need library services, they're not available. My home library is now closed on Mondays, and the proposed cuts will take away a lot.
Thank you for that concluding statement. This does conclude your time.
Okay,
Thank you.
I concur with everyone else. Thank you.
Kenneth?
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenny Klitich. I am a resident in Council District 3. ALPRs like Flock present an obscene cost benefit, minuscule benefits at ridiculous costs, both financial and especially to civil liberties. These systems are fundamentally opposed to a free society and should be defunded on principle as well as based on fiscal responsibility. Who wants this other than the police and those standing to profit from such systems? We, the citizens, should be supported, not surveilled. Tonight, we've heard from the heart of the SD community. I am so grateful and proud to stand with them for services like libraries, parks, climate mitigation, arts, youth, and LGBTQ programs. I urge you to listen to the constituents, to make courageous choices like curtailing police surveillance spending and reinvest that money into critical community supporting programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony DeMeglio, and you'll be followed by Tazheen, John Brady, Lori Lipsman, and Annie Nguyen. If you could please make your way to the front of the room.
Good evening, council members. I come before you to speak on why I believe cutting funding to the arts and culture again is a huge mistake. My name is Anthony DeMeglio. I'm a San Diego native, resident of District 3, and I'm an artist. I work in public schools, and for many children, the arts are not just extracurricular. They are where they learn discipline, empathy, collaboration, and how to express what cannot be said any other way. These programs are a source of community, friendship, and in many cases I have seen firsthand, the only group of people that some can simultaneously be immersed in, seen in, appreciated in, encouraged in, and believed in, a family of sorts. They are often the reason young people stay engaged in school, the reason communities feel connected, and the reason we have a cultural identity at all. I strongly feel our society has fallen behind in cultural and artistic appreciation. This has become evident with recent negative comments made by an arguably influential figure by the fine arts of opera and ballet. The arts matter. Our artistic expression matters. I implore you to restore funding. If you cut funding for the arts, you're not trimming excess, you're removing access to education and opportunity.
Thank you. Tazheen?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tazheen Nizam, and I serve as the Executive Director of CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, the San Diego office. I'm here with my friends from the Community Budget Alliance because that's what there should be. This should be a process of uplifting communities, create a thriving atmosphere of communities instead of illegal surveillance and militarized policing. The San Diego library system is a place which is open to communities of all color, race, religion, immigration status. When I was a new immigrant to the city of San Diego, the Penasquitos Library was my home away from home. There, I could be a nerd as much as I wanted and avoid being picked on by my family. This is where I checked out my first test of English for a foreign language and tested out of ESL and ended up in English 101. So I really am a supporter of the library system. The library system provides so many services for our youth, a resource hub for immigrant services, a resource hub for homeless individuals, a resource hub for the unemployed. These resources are very important, so please keep them.
Thank you. John Brady, I believe I see your hand raised in the virtual queue. One final check for John Brady. Lori Lipsman, and you'll be followed by Annie Nguyen, Catherine Tran, and Laxmi Javani, or Savani.
Good evening. My name is Lori Lipsman, pronoun she, her, and a District 3 resident. This proposed budget is the least creative way to address our deficit and frankly a disgrace for a city that has struggled for decades with its cultural identity while failing too many communities of concern. Decreasing funding for the resources that protect, stabilize, and empower communities while increasing funding for policing and mass surveillance is unacceptable. I do support ending funding for wealthy La Jolla institutions like MCASD. Maybe it's time for the city to also implement a San Diego billionaires tax. Also, I'd like to suggest considering getting artists on the budget committee because we are creative. Thank you.
Thank you. Annie Nguyen, you've been seated time by Zoe Warner. Zoe, is Zoe here? Where? Oh, okay, 2 minutes. Please
Hello,
begin.
my name is Annie Nguyen, a junior at Crawford High School, and I'm a volunteer at Oak Park Library. Good evening, City Council. I want to take a moment to thank you for including us in the budgeting process for the city. The neighborhood our youth-led nonprofit represents has a lot at stake in this budget, and we want to take this chance to outline not just our neighborhood's priorities for the 2027 city budget, but also give some constructive solutions on how we can fund our priorities while still addressing the city's deficit. The City of San Diego is supported by resident taxpayers and has committed to providing certain traditional services to the public. Among those are trash collection, police and fire departments, libraries, and not least of all, parks. They've become a part of almost everyone's daily lives and provide an accessible place to exercise, connect with nature, and for children to play. They are one of the most direct ways residents interact with the city's services. The mayor's proposed budget for 2027 actually raises the budget for the department by $5 million from the 2026 budget. However, this raise also comes with countless cuts to park hours and positions that are going to seriously harm parks throughout San Diego, not just Oak Park. While some of these cuts have hit high salaried middle managers saving millions of dollars with minimal impact, most are low salaried staffing positions. Cutting these doesn't save nearly as much money and has a comparatively larger impact on residents and the quality of our parks. The same goes for cutting park hours. The cost to benefit ratio for residents is simply too high to justify cutting them. The Oak Park Youth Corps urges the city to exercise prudence in how it budgets the Parks and Rec Department for next year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Catherine Tran?
Good evening. I would like to elaborate on the Oak Park's youth positions on the Parks and Recreation Department. Although we are concerned that the increases in the Parks and Recs Department budgets are coming at the expense of park hours and the jobs of employees, we are not suggesting that the city should back out of the commitments it made to build new parks in communities such as Bayer or East Village. Rather, we suggest reevaluating the additional $6 million in salary and benefit adjustments that the mayor has budgeted for the department. Although these funds supposed to support employees by coming at the expense of funding for other positions, they're forcing the city to fire countless people and financially endangering their families. On the other hand, the city could take this funding and use it to keep all parks open and still have money left over to keep the employees who are working hard to maintain these parks rather than firing them and closing down their parks as Mayor Todd Gloria proposes.
Thank you. Lakshmi Savani and Madeline Savani. And after Madeline will be Brenda Martinez and Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Laxmi. I'm a junior at Crawford High School, and for many people in San Diego who are currently without personal modes of transportation, public transport is their only means of getting around. It's a necessity for those trying to attend their jobs and also for young adults who are working hard to find a job and navigate their adult lives. Denying them access to it through a rising bus fare systemically keeps them from contributing to San Diego's economy. Furthermore, reducing fares for MTS is not only cost effective, but environmentally beneficial. MTS is already paying for the base costs for running routes. So allowing more people to take the bus through cheaper bus fares would let us take a better advantage of the money we're already using to fund these bus routes. There are a variety of means that the city would take to execute this alongside MTS, such as extending Pronto Pass coverage to financially needy and unsheltered individuals. Thank you.
Thank you. Madeline?
Good evening. My name is Madeline. I'm a junior at Crawford High School and another member of the Oak Park Youth Corps, and I regularly use the public transport to get around. I have to rely on the bus system to get to community events, volunteering, and school. Currently, MTS is being forced to either raise fares or cut hours, both of which would hurt my ability to participate in my community and access opportunities. I know that I'm not the only one in this position. I strongly encourage the city to consider working more closely with MTS to keep fares affordable. Families are already facing raising gas costs and living costs, which we as a city can't control. Public transportation is our chance to do our part in fighting for affordability and working San Diegans and providing a way for unhoused and carless to participate in our economy and communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda Martinez, and you've been seated time by Benton Nguyen. If you could raise your hand, Benton. Okay, so you'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I am a junior at Crawford High School, and I've been volunteering at Oak Park Library for the past 2 years. For our community, the library is more than just a place for books. It's where people come together, attend events, and build connections. Even after moving away, it remains a place where I stay connected with my friends and meet inspiring individuals. Oak Park doesn't have a community center like other neighborhoods, so library fills that role. Cutting its hours or funding would take away a vital space that so many people rely on. On behalf of Oak Park Youth Corps and the border community, I urge you to consider these cuts. The proposed reductions would have a real intimate impacts on thousands of residents while saving less than $4 million. I ask you to look for alternative solutions that don't come at the expense of essential community services like our libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackson Cox, please approach the lectern. You've been seated time by Milo. Milo Cox, you'll have 2 minutes, and you'll be followed by Tina Love, Benjamin Thompson, and Carrie Quatlander. If you can please come to the front of the room.
All right. Hi, good evening. I'm Jackson, and I'm the president of the Oak Park Youth Corps. I wanted to elaborate on some solutions to actually keep our libraries open next year. Now, the library budget is set to decrease in 2027 by $3.4 million. We understand the importance of dealing with the deficit, but there are alternative cuts that can be made that are not going to impact the thousands of San Diegans that rely on the library for reading, learning, and access to the internet. To preserve current library funding levels while still cutting $3.4 million in the budget, the OPYC first recommends cutting the Ethics Commission. Now, ethics should always be first and foremost in government 100% of the time, and we shouldn't need a commission to remind us that, especially when we have multiple other departments, the city attorney's office, the personnel department, the compliance department, that are all working to provide that same counseling and that same advice that the ethics Commission is supposed to be providing to the government. This is a redundant waste of $2 million. And it's only 6 high salary positions that we'd be cutting, while countless low salary library staff members are being laid off to fund these positions. The Ethics Board currently comes at the cost of closing down libraries for thousands of residents, closing Mondays all across the city, which in and of itself is, I'd have to say, deeply unethical. Cutting the board entirely would free up long-term funding to sustain the ethical libraries that San Diegans deserve. Now, this leaves another $1.4 million in cuts for San Diego to make up. And we suggest that, again, as has been mentioned a lot, we cut the flock cameras. These have been largely ineffective. The city has spent more money on these surveillance systems than we've recovered in stolen property. And at the same time, we've established a surveillance network that violates not just people's rights to privacy, but threatens to leak innocent Americans' information to federal authorities. The flock cameras have been intensely controversial for a reason.
Thank you. Tina Love. Benjamin Thompson. And you'll be followed by Carrie Quatlander, Eric Solomon, and Francis Bonilla.
Good evening, Council. I'm just here to reiterate what you've heard many times over. even a 3% change of the budget from your largest line item, which would be the SDPD budget, into any of the community outreach programs, including the library or the Parks and Recs, would be beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you. Carrie?
Hello, my name is Carrie. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm speaking as a concerned citizen who lives in District 2. The proposed budget will cut services such as libraries, climate investment, art programs, homelessness outreach, substance abuse programs, and many, many others that have a direct benefit to our community. If we are serious about public safety and preventing crime, then we need more of these programs to be funded, not defunded. When I moved to San Diego early last year, I was shocked to see that my local OB library was only open Tuesday to Saturday. Surely, such an important community hub would have the full support of a city that is known for being so family friendly. So I'm here tonight fighting for these important programs and services to receive even more funding, not less. Flock cameras don't prevent crime, investments in the community do. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Solomon, please approach the lectern, and you'll be followed by Francis Bonilla, John Hyken, and Michael Cristal, if you can make your way to the front of the room.
Hey, how's it going? I was listening today, and around 11:30, Councilmember Elo Rivera raised a question on the promotional programs, which was what was the cost revenue analysis that was done to determine that it was beneficial to cut the culture and arts program. And you can check when they bring it up, but their answer was there was no analysis done. To me, that feels significant. And then later, Councilmember Pro Tem raised an issue that why are we consolidating resources to the PANDA program? I think it maybe is a good idea to look at how to better collaborate between different programs to do better analysis.
Thank you. Francis? Is Francis Bonilla here?
Good evening, Council. My name is Francis Bonilla, San Diego native and a resident of District 8, also a proud member of the LGBT community. I'm here to ask you to ensure that the opioid settlement fund continues to support the LGBT substance abuse treatment programs at the center. These are life-saving services that have already helped hundreds of people in our community. I'm also here to ask you to restore the Arts and Culture Fund. As a creative and artist myself, I've witnessed firsthand how impactful and essential these spaces are to build community, support mental health, and economic vitality. Budgets are not just money allocated, it is a statement of values, and I'm asking you guys to prioritize our people. Thank you.
Thank you. John Hyken, and you'll be followed by Michael Cristal, Becky Goodman, Nicolette, and Ricky Martinez.
Good evening, council members. I'm John Hyken. I live in District 9, and I'm co-founder of Fern Street Circus in City Heights. I'm an artist who many years ago created a DIY circus with city support. I was told by funders, including the city, that we needed, besides doing art, we needed to make an impact on communities where they live, to make a positive impact on people's lives. This we did, and we still do. Now our mayor, for whom I voted twice, advocates zeroing arts and culture grants because we don't contribute to public safety. Rubbish. Ask the hundreds of after-school students who've received free instruction from paid teaching artists and whose lives have been dramatically changed. After-school programs really matter and do contribute to public safety. I ask each of you to please stand up and reject the mayor's heartless proposal. Fund arts and culture and parks and recreation and libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Cristal? Michael? We'll go to Becky Goodman. Michael and Becky, okay. Nicolette, and you'll be followed by Ricky Martinez, Anthony Ralphs, and Elise Smith, if you can come to the front of the room.
Good evening, Council. My name is Nicolette Mangabat. I'm a volunteer board member of the Arts and Cultural Committee at the Port of San Diego, but I'm speaking on behalf of my own volition this evening. Budget cuts to the arts cultural programs eliminate one of our strongest economic and community drivers. Arts and culture are not a luxury. They drive tourism, support small businesses, create jobs, and strengthen our communities. When you cut that, you weaken the fabric of San Diego. So I ask you to shift the question, what can we cut, but to what can we not afford to lose? We are one of the richest cities in the richest states, in the richest country in the world, yet we are acting like we have no options. San Diego is sitting on assets we're not even fully leveraging, with real opportunities to generate revenue and restore funding. The city doesn't have a funding problem, it has a priority problem. I want to thank you for your service to the city of San Diego, but I beg you to realize that tourism will suffer first, then secondarily hurting our finally recovering post-COVID economy, and then it's the disadvantaged and youth that will
Thank you.
suffer at the end.
Thank you. Ricky Martinez?
Hello, I'm Ricky. I live and vote in District 8. I just arrived from receiving 2 prestigious scholarships and recently got admitted to UC Berkeley. I can only attribute my academic success to our libraries. Volume 1 of the draft budget fiscal year 2027, page 86, depicts 4.9% of the PTE positions by department going to libraries. Page 93 depicts all 36 libraries only accounting for 73 million in expenditure by departments. Volume 2, page 240 is a fantasy of goals to be done by the department, with page 243 showing $3.4 million cut from library budget, personnel going from 484 to 396. That is from 2025 to 2027, and a total of $1 million cut in personnel expenditures. Volume 3, page 130 shows only 6 libraries having a plan under this proposed budget.
Thank you. Anthony Ralphs, and you'll be followed by Elise Smith, Blessing Okono, and I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce this name, Lungia, who? Uh, Please begin.
Good afternoon, City Council. I just want to let everyone on this council know that SDPD has never saved my life, but art continues to keep me alive and makes my life worth living every single day. I'm wearing a shirt right now that says scared money don't make money. It's a term that's commonly used in hip hop to describe the expression of the boldness, of the courageousness that is required in order for money to be made. That same courageousness is the courageousness that City Council needs to make brave decisions to cut SDPD. We have not had a single person in this room tonight say that they're in favor of these budget increases for SDPD. We have not had a single person say that they're in favor of Flock. Everyone has made it abundantly clear. I'm grateful to Council President Joe LaCava and Kent Lee, who have made it known to the Privacy Advisory Board. I was there at that meeting earlier last week that y'all are willing to reconsider other alternative options. That at least means something to us. So I appreciate that, and I please will encourage
Thank you.
y'all to
That's
have the
your time.
bravery.
Thank you. Elise?
Hi, my name is Elise, and I'm a resident of District 5. I understand that the city is in a tight place financially, but regular San Diegans are in a tight place as well. This is one of the most expensive cities in the country. I work a full-time job, and I'm still consistently priced out of doing so much in the city because of non-negotiable costs like gas, power, rent, and groceries. Having access to low-cost art events helps make the city accessible and be a place I want to live in, despite the high costs. This budget decimates art and culture funding, cutting it by an astronomical 85%. And we're also cutting library hours and parks and recreation funding. These are all free things that San Diegans like me rely on to want to be here. I know we have to make cuts, but cutting so much of these categories is not fair and measured. It actively makes the city more hostile to live in. As a regular San Diegan, when I'm over budget, I have to look at where my costs have increased. I would not cut consistent lower cost items that have an outsized impact. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Blessing, please approach the lectern, and you'll be followed by Lunhia, Karen, and Jose.
Hi, so my name's Blessing. I just came here today to tell you guys not to cut the library funds because I enjoy going to the library and having movies on Tuesdays. I think it's so fun that the library, like, they let us. I just think it's fun, okay? The library has a lot of good stuff for families and for the homeless. Like, just don't cut the library funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Lungia, who? And you've been seated time by Sophia. Okay, great. So you'll have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Linja Hugh. I have been studying arts with a prominent professor at SDSU, Martin Luera, and head of the public art project, Leo Angelo Lacuna Reyes, for the past 7 years. I'm also a board member of the San Diego Museum of Art Artists Guild. And due to some of the recent events, when we are working with the museum closely, we are already feeling the impact of the potential budget cuts. And if you run the numbers, these cuts will suffocate the future career of mid-career artists that raised the consumption of community-based art pieces that's less than $1,000 to $3,000 to $10,000. And usually these artists are the connection between private foundations and institutional donations that range from $20,000 to $150,000. These budget cuts are already in fact impacting the collectors, both from the West Coast and the East Coast, that's been catching up the figurative movement since 10 years ago. And these leverages are important for the culture industry to attract a lot of more students to actually devote themselves to the cultural landscapes and then keep the reinvestment going as well. And if these budgets are cut, a lot of the Protestant working ethic will actually be quite hurt, even if from just purely a monetary perspective. And as a holder of artist visa in O1 category, I actually believe in the potential for San Diego to hold a important position in the sociological discourse and large level of fundings and donations.
Thank you. Karen, Alleluia. Karen, are you here with us in chambers? Oh, great. And you've been seated time by Jules. Great, so you'll have 2 minutes and you'll be followed by Jose Acuna and Blair Beekman. And those will be our final speakers in chambers.
My name is Karen Alleluia. I'm an illustrator who owns a small art business and co-owns an Artist First Makers Market. I represent District 7 and grew up in District 4. I'm here to say that calling arts and libraries non-essential is a privilege. Going to Bell Junior High, I knew from a very early age that not everyone has a quiet, safe, and encouraging place to go to. The library was where I went to study, work, and focus. I went to Morris High School and Southwestern Community College and experienced abuse in my personal life. The library was my haven and a place to set myself up for success. Then I experienced homelessness and lost my car. The library was where I went for safety, privacy, and where I could ask for help. Through these resources, I was able to get grants from nonprofit organizations and art programs that weren't much but were just enough to help me keep going. Today, I attribute all my successes to libraries, the arts, and those communities that supported me along the way. Throughout my life, arts and libraries helped me move forward, but this isn't just my story, it belongs to so many people, especially in Districts 1 and 4. An $11.8 million cut to our arts programs, nonprofits, and libraries doesn't just reduce funding, it puts our entire city at risk. You will be stripping us of our resources, our communities, our safe havens, our work opportunities, our ways out. And so I ask you to please reject this budget and restore funding to arts and libraries to protect our youth, our underserved communities, and our very livelihoods. So I say again,
Calling arts and libraries non-essential is a privilege, and please listen to us when we say we need them. Thank you.
Thank you. Jose Acuna?
Good afternoon, City Council. Tonight, each one of you is considering on making a huge cut in the investment portfolios of San Diegans. Just like each one of you has a healthy investment portfolio, strong 401ks, overperforming stocks, campaign donors. These are great investments in your own futures, but what about the children's futures? Why are we not enriching their spaces when they can learn and play and be kids? Past communities surely have invested in you, and City Council members, every dollar invested in your own community in San Diegans pays back in dividends. This is a fact. These programs help cultivate the next generation of leaders and problem solvers. These are the best kinds of investments our city council can make for a better San Diego tomorrow. How are we even considering reducing our investment in our youth, our vulnerable, our neighbors who need it? If you need something to cut, Flock is very unpopular and expensive. Start there, not in our public services.
Thank you. Blair Beekman, please approach the lectern.
Hi, Blair Beekman. I was doing my laundry tonight. I had to do my laundry, and I was listening to everyone's public comment. It was really good tonight, so I figured I'd try to show up and be a part of community life, and it's nice to be here. You know, this is the second year we're dealing with budget austerity in San Diego, and I'm trying to learn what was talked about on this council from last year. You know, the cities of Oakland and LA, they're having the same massive budget deficit issues, yet they're still supporting their community with social services. And they're not talking about austerity the same way we do here. Austerity is everything here, whereas in those two major cities, it's not. And I think we really have to learn their good examples. How can we have that good narrative here? How can we be working towards that this time? Good luck how we can do that. And that we talk about Flock more. We talk about choices that Oakland's making right now that we don't have to have Flock. We can be all working towards something else. Good luck how we can do that.
Thank you. If I call your name, please approach the lectern. Rick Arlo, Devon Jones, Brian Castillo, Rebecca Scott, Patricia McFadden, Mercedes Lomeli, Anthony Moreno del Angel, Chantal Paul, Travis Bouchard, John Brady, Tina Love, Becky Goodman, and Michael Cristal. Okay, the following individuals registered their position in opposition but do not wish to speak: Andrew Gomez, Gabriela Gomez, Josh Powell, Michelangelo Alencio Canucho, Faith Richardson, Robert Groven, Mike Lee, and Sally Lopez. This concludes in-person public testimony. We will now move to the virtual queue. I will start the 5-minute timer for all those in the virtual queue to indicate that they have public comment on item 1, sub-item D. We have 31 hands raised in the queue. We will begin with Sally Small. Please unmute and begin.
Hello again, D4 Emerald Hills residents. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who has stuck it out to give their 1 minute, and for those council members that are still in chambers. As everyone else has repeatedly said, do not cut our libraries, do not cut our parks, do not cut the Office of Child and Youth Success, do not cut arts and culture. Yes, cut to Flock, and overtime for police and fire seem to be out of control still, and you put more money in. Doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of people in D4, 8, and 9 that are still looking for equity in services and priorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Akila Templeton, please unmute and begin. I see you've unmuted. We cannot hear you.
Hi, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, committee members. This is Akila Templeton speaking for Veterans Village of San Diego. We remain concerned with the proposed allocation to create a 72-bed interim shelter on our campus, which we know would displace members of our veteran community. They are veterans who are currently occupying these beds. We urge the City Council to redirect this funding to the many organizations, departments, and programs that need it, especially in this difficult budget year. My question would be, has anyone asked the mayor how they plan to actually force these funds on us? What is the plan here? Right now, it seems to involve bullying, defaming, and threatening an organization that has served veterans for 45 years in this community, and we reject that. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Terry Ann Skelly. Please unmute and begin.
Good evening, San Diego City Council. The Union Tribune has been highlighting the possibility of reduction of services, hours, and staff for libraries and parks and recreation centers. The article also spotlighted that communities of concern would be ill afford these reductions because the potential for outside volunteers and funds are less likely. As a public health educator and parent and youth mentor, I know that it is young people who will be most likely impacted by this situation. And we also know that communities of concern also experience health inequities for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the importance of safe and available recreation opportunities for maintaining and achieving better health through exercise and fresh air. In the short term, we should also recognize that tobacco stores, vape shops, and marijuana storefronts and liquor shops are more often located in lower economic neighborhoods and sell their products there. Thank you for recognizing how unfair
Thank
this
you.
is.
This does conclude your time. Thank you. Our next speaker, Joanne Franciscus, please begin.
Good evening, council members. I'm Joanne Franciscus, CEO of the Legal Aid Society of San Diego. We provide free legal services, including running the city's eviction prevention program. Each year, the EPP helps thousands of San Diegans avoid eviction and homelessness through outreach, education, clinic assistance, legal representation, case management, and emergency financial assistance. Prevention is key. Our program is uniquely effective and efficient. Year after year, more than 90% of EPP clients avoid homelessness, preventing trauma to those served, saving taxpayers' money, and reducing strain on emergency services. For the second year in a row, the city has seen a decline in unsheltered residents. Despite its overwhelming success, the EPP funding was cut after its first grant cycle and has remained static since 2023. While the draft budget maintained level funding, the IBA is now proposing additional cuts, which would mean fewer people served, more people falling into homelessness, and would be catastrophic to the progress the city has made. Please support the mayor's draft budget for the EPP, say no to the IBA's proposed cuts, and say no to losing the progress that we've made. Thank you.
Thank you. Roberto Perez, please unmute and begin.
Hello, my name is Roberto Perez. I'm a lifelong San Diego resident, a dad, and a homeowner from District 9. Public safety accounts for about 50% of the San Diego San Diego's budget. And there was a comment made earlier this morning by Councilmember Foster that making cuts to public safety was difficult. How can we have a realistic conversation about our budget when almost half of the budget appears to be untouchable? I wish we had the same reticence when speaking about cutting public libraries, parks, and arts funding. Cutting these departments will exacerbate a downward spiral that will continue to lower tourism revenue, decrease public safety, and lead to a lower quality of life for all San Diegans. Be a leader and cut PD spending. It's a black hole. It never ends. Thanks.
Thank you. The 5-minute timer has concluded. We have 27 hands remaining in the queue. We will take no additional callers. Morgan, please unmute and begin.
As chair of the city's Community Forest Advisory Board, I urge you to restore the 1 FTE program coordinator for urban forestry in the Transportation Department. At least 50% of this position's salary for fiscal year 27 is an expenditure required as part of the city's 2022 settlement with APCD over violations. Again, this cost is required as part of the terms of the legal settlement. Additionally, this position is the contract manager responsible for the city's 2 tree maintenance contracts that perform proactive and reactive tree maintenance to ensure public safety. Last year alone, the media reported on at least 2 deaths as a result of falling trees or branches. These incidents, along with the damage to private property, open the city up to litigation and potential civil suits that far exceed the staff's salary for this role. Lastly, I wish I could offer budget savings, but last year's budget cycle eliminated the city's free tree SD program and decimated the tree maintenance contracts. There is simply nothing left to cut.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Sean Boyd, please unmute and begin.
Good. Trinity Theater. I was joined tonight by 25 teenagers who participate in our teen leadership program, which serves as a free career readiness program. We are all dismayed by the current proposal as it eliminates job opportunities that these emerging professionals are working towards. I am alarmed by the mayor's assumption and the IBA's assessment that reducing arts funding will result in a higher revenue from tourism occupancy tax. All things being equal, that may be the case. However, be equal. These and any reductions will lead to diminished programming that our arts and culture institutions can provide. These cuts will impact tourism as there will be less for residents and non-residents alike to do. The city in turn will once again realize less than expected revenue, leading to this exact same conversation next year. Since the last meeting, the only office that reached out to me was Councilmember Von Wilpert's. I want to implore the mayor and the rest of you to please reach out to the experts in this field before irreconcilable mistakes are made. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Alida Chavez, please unmute and begin.
Good evening, council members. Thank you so much for staying here and listening to our wonderful, wonderful youth and members of our community. I'm Elida Chavez, a resident of Oak Park and president of the Friends of the Oak Park Library. The proposed reductions to the libraries, parks, recreations, OCYS, underestimates the seriousness consequences that we could have from the cutting of the services. All of the services uplift our youth, our families, our communities, our residents. And as you saw this evening, it was prime example of what our libraries do. Prime example about what Parks and Recs do for all of our residents, our youth, especially our youth, our children. And also the fact that cutting the budget is going to take everything out of our communities. What's next?
Thank you. Our next speaker, Judy Strang, please unmute and begin.
Sorry about my delay in doing that. Thank you for this opportunity to share some thoughts this evening, San Diego City Council. I want to add my voice of support to a comment that was given in person regarding how wealthy our area is. And I would remind us that we also live in a very rich county, and I think there lies the problem. We don't have this sort of opportunity to look at the county budget. It's a very close thing. And you had some posters down there that suggested we fund libraries and park and rec and let the homeless funding go. And I'd like to agree to that because the county needs to pick that up. That is the county's responsibility. You have a whole department devoted to health and human services, and that's what this is. Homelessness is a health and human service, and they receive funding, lots of it, far more than the city does. And we don't have the opportunity to scrutinize how that money is spent, but we do know from the UT that they have misspent at least $5 million in sole source contracts that were wasted money that we could have used here for
Thank you.
homelessness.
This does conclude your time. Our next speaker, Viet Voices, please unmute and begin. Viet Voices.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Rui Trans, and I'm the executive director for Big Voices. I'm calling in to oppose this mayor proposal budget. It's so bad. You probably hear it all night. I believe that you know what to do. I believe that when thriving in the community is what we can feel safe in. Every Sunday, I get to go to the park. I get to vibe in the sun and the grass. I go to the library, check out a book. I go to Park and Recs to, schedule and have community meetings there. Those are the meaningful things for the community that make the community thrive and that what make me feel safe and make my community feel safe. I think you can redefine all of this and figure out how to truly fund a community. There are a lot of plenty suggestions on the table tonight, and I hope that you do that, pick it up from the folks that do the work for you. We terminate the contract for Flock, look at a golf fund, and also
Thank you. This does
funding.
conclude your time, but you can submit a comment to councilcommittee@sandiego.gov, and we'll be sure to publish and distribute that. Becky Rapp, please unmute and begin.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Becky Rapp, and I'm here tonight to ask you to please prioritize full funding for substance use disorder services, libraries, and our parks. There is no option here. They are essential investments in public health and safety. Substance use disorder continues to impact families across San Diego, and our behavioral health system is already strained. Investing in prevention, treatment, and recovery reduces pressure on emergency services and improves outcomes. Libraries and parks are just as crucial. They provide safe spaces for learning, connection, and community health. When access is reduced, the impacts are immediate, especially for working families, seniors, and youth. We understand this is a difficult budget year, but budgets reflect priorities, and a strong, resilient city invests in the services that prevent bigger problems down the road. So I urge you to fully fund these essential services. Thank you.
Thank you. Henry O, please unmute and begin.
Hi guys, Henry here. Hey, this is going to be a fiasco. This is going to be known, the mayor's budget is like, let them eat cake budget. It should be named the let them eat cake budget from Todd Gloria. Anyway, what we have here is the Democratic Party in California and in San Diego. This is the results. This has nothing to do with Trump. This is to do with the democratic tyranny of the state and the local and the county. This is where it's end up, man. We're cutting the funds for those black guys. They're doing such good things, man. They're like street level. We're gonna take their money away. It's gonna be gangs, man. This is crazy. This is nuts, man. Let them eat cake for the Democratic parties. That's the theme song here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Catherine Rhodes, please begin.
Hello, this is Catherine Rhodes. I want to say that on May 20th, in 2 weeks, the Rules Committee will be hearing our top reform ballot measures that could actually solve all our problems. It'll solve the structural budget deficit. I'm actually going to try to find my notes here. I had it ready to go. Can I come back to you?
I'm sorry, we need to continue in the order that the hands were raised.
Okay, let me see. Okay, to the public, please support us at the Second Rules Committee on our 2 top reform ballot measures for the November ballot to fix the San Diego structural budget deficit and stop all cuts to arts, libraries, and neighborhoods. For the period from July to November, please have the mayor agree to fund a 6-month grace period for budget cuts by approving a 10-year loan from the hoarded $454 million in SDG&E underground surcharge.
Thank you. This does conclude your time. Our next speaker, Gabrielle, please unmute and begin. I see you've unmuted. We cannot hear you.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela Ravena. I'm a constituent from District 3 and team member of local Teamsters 481. When culture is attacked, democracy and humanity are at risk. This is a call from your community to have courage. to please not remain silent when it matters most, right now. Our city and council members have allowed megacorps and monopolies to infiltrate our circular economy and taking our money and using it to perform global atrocities. In almost every aspect of our lives, the majority shareholders are BlackRock and Vanguard. From our food system to SDG&E to Otay Mesa Detention Center, even our trash haulers. By allowing these organizations to exist in our community, it doesn't just cost your constituents opportunities to thrive, but allows global oppression to exist. City council members, it is not only your duty to us, but to humanity to reject this asinine budget proposal and to demand radical changes now.
Thank you. This does conclude your time. Our next speaker is Linda. Please unmute and begin.
Hello, I'm a resident of District 9, and I'm a resident of District 9, and I'm asking that our budget reflect our societal values. We need San Diego to cease overinvestment in policing and systems that surveil and criminalize our communities, and instead fund the systems that keep our communities truly healthy. Parks and libraries, they're a legitimate third space that's critical to healthy community. Yes, to end flock contracts immediately. Yes, to reallocate money from policing programs to services that sustain our communities like parks, libraries, art, and care for citizens. I would also like to add that the California Daylight Law, AB 431, is not clear, and people who can not really afford it are receiving tickets because there's unclear boundaries in parking. Again, no to flock, yes to parks. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Sunny Lee, please unmute and begin.
Good evening. I'm Sunny Lee, and I'm here on behalf of the San Diego Business Improvement District Alliance, representing 17 business improvement districts and more than 15,000 small businesses across the city. Councilmember Campillo said it best earlier when he said the city has a responsibility to create a strong local economy. Programs like the Small Business Enhancement Program and Arts and Culture Funding help do exactly that. They are economic development tools that help small businesses stay visible, competitive, and open. When businesses are strong, San Diego generates more revenue. When our commercial corridors are active and vibrant, they attract residents, visitors, and spending. At a time of budget deficit, it is not sound business strategy to reduce investment in programs that help generate revenue and support jobs. SBAP and Arts and Culture are modest investments with measurable returns, and they help keep San Diego's neighborhoods economically productive. We respectfully ask that you protect funding for both in the FY27 budget. Thank you.
Thank you. The original, please unmute and begin.
Talk about Ouroboros. Evil always self-implodes and eats itself alive, which is so crazy. And it's like, talk about public safety and parks and the San Diego Police Department kind of colliding, as you need to put more safety in parks, yet you have San Diego police officers going in and brutally assaulting women and or doing many other egregious things in the parks. And anything that you have to do with homelessness, it's like you should be bringing back funding. Especially, it's interesting that on May 7th at 10 a.m. in courtroom 5C at 221 West Broadway, before Judge Schopler, in a civil lawsuit by 8 individuals that will be heard for against the nonprofit Dreams of Change. So it will be interesting to see what happens there.
Your time. Thank you. John, please unmute and begin. John, I've asked you to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Council members, you are not choosing between good options. You're choosing what kind of a failure you're willing to tolerate. This budget leads to a future like Blade Runner, the Hunger Games, where inequality is normalized and poverty is over-policed. As macro funding for the social safety net disappears, the destruction of the greatest generation's work is gone. We, without new progressive revenue, cannot do anything but cut, or increase fees, which will hurt the least of us. Now is the time for change. You've got to think about how and what our government does, how fast we move, and how fast we're embracing innovation to the point where it hurts. Stop making new rules. We've got enough. Listen to your poorest constituents until you cry yourself to bed instead of blaming them. Hear them when a $5 parking fee becomes hundreds and you take their vehicle. When your fines and fees mean less food on the table and put people out of their homes. When
Thank
allowing
you.
RVs on
Thank you. This
single-family
does
lots
conclude
would
your
make
time.
thousands of new homes.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Nancy Bem, please unmute and begin.
Hi, I want to second all the many comments that were given tonight about how much divestment from so many preventative and revenue generating and futuristic programs like the OCYS department, arts and culture, parks and rec, and the libraries are so important. I also want to uplift the Neil Good Day Center. Have we forgotten what it was like when we had a Hep A outbreak? By closing one of the only places that people who are experiencing houselessness can shower, can use a toilet, can do laundry, will certainly lead to this. This is borrowing from our future and gambling with something that could likely happen again. Additionally, I think we forgot what it was like in COVID. With the pandemic, right? When it was raging and things were closed and we could not access things. All these mental health crises are completely preventable. Let's cut from the SDPD budget. Is it unbelievably massive? Start with Flock. It's an easy $2 million that we can reclaim. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Susan, please unmute and begin.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Susan Matthey. I'll be focusing my comments on the engineering and capital projects portion of the proposed fiscal year 2027 budget. This proposal reduces 33 positions, 32 of which are vacant and one current position, which is not, the city surveyor. The budget presents this as a reduction of one assistant deputy director within the construction engineering services division, which does not fully reflect the impact of this decision. That reduction results in the loss of the city surveyor function, a licensed role responsible for regulatory compliance. That distinction is significant and is not clearly conveyed in how the reduction is described. These decisions introduce real risks to the city of San Diego, both in terms of compliance and project delivery, and ultimately affect the reliability and quality of infrastructure that residents depend on every day. I urge the City Council to take a closer look before moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Vianney.
Hi, good evening. My name is Vianney Rubalcaba. Thank you to the council and staff for staying on so late. I live in District 3 and I want to oppose the mayor's proposed budget. I specifically oppose all the cuts to the rec centers, libraries, arts program, and the Neil Good Day Center. I urge the mayor and the council to instead look to ending the Flock contract and the $15 million increase to SDPD this year. The Flock contract has already proved to be mismanaged and unnecessary. Streetlight cameras started as a quote-unquote mobility tool that got quickly commandeered by SDPD. SDPD is taking over our city, and its wild overreaches led to the Flock surveillance that nobody wants. Don't cut arts, libraries, and rec centers and homeless hubs, which actually make us safe and healthy. Instead, look to the Flock contract and SDPD's budget increase. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Our next speaker is William Dorset. Please unmute and begin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So in 2025, you guys raised the police budget $100,000 or $100 million. Then you did it again in 2026, or now you're doing it again. I believe you did also in 2024. I don't know. I think, giving $100 million every year extra on top of what's already there is why there is a budget deficit. Take that $12 million for the arts and culture out of the police budget and put it back into the arts and culture. The police is already getting $660 million a year. They don't need $760 million in a year. So, cut some of that fat and give it back to the arts. You've heard from all the people that they need it. So care for the people, not the police. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Peggy Walker, please begin.
Thank you. Hi. Something unclear is how much marijuana tax revenue is anticipated and how it will support this budget. We deserve transparency considering promises of big marijuana tax revenues and considering marijuana's adverse impact on public safety and homelessness, both budget priorities. A critical question is, why isn't medical marijuana taxed when drugstore products like aspirin are? And where's the definition of medical marijuana when medical societies, experts, and researchers say repeatedly smoked or ingested dispensary weed has no medically validated use? If medical marijuana sold in dispensaries is a deception per the science, it should not go untaxed. The issue of marijuana tax revenue and how it's used needs greater transparency.
Thank you. This does conclude your time. Tony Bevel, please unmute and begin.
Good evening, Tony Bevel, resident of District 9. I'm calling in support of the Office of Child and Youth Success and their mission to provide leadership for outreach to historically underserved communities. I'd like to remind everyone that last year, the entire budget of OCYS was less than 0.02% of the city budget, equivalent to a personal annual budget allotment for toothpaste. I understand that making cuts is not easy, but the IBA's report indicated that slashing OCYS affects the city's ability to sustain meaningful programming in communities with higher concentrations of children experiencing economic hardship. The societal return on investment from OCYS is off the charts given its relatively minuscule budget. We can't afford not to have it. Let's not be short-sighted. Let's protect OCYS, our future, and our youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Ray Matthey, please unmute and begin.
Raymond Matthey. I'm the City Land Surveyor and Assistant Deputy Director with over 30 years of public service. The proposed budget eliminates City Land Surveyor position as a reduction of one Assistant Deputy Director. Respectfully, it's not just an position. It's a city central point of professional accountability for land surveying across multiple departments. The city does have licensed surveyors performing important work. My role establishes standards of care, methods of operation, and coordination that ensures the work is consistent and defensible. Under California law, surveying must be performed under the responsible charge of a licensed land surveyor. While tasks can be distributed, the legal accountability cannot. When the city charter was adopted, engineers could perform surveying. Today, most cannot unless separately licensed. Eliminating this position does not eliminate the work. It removes the city's clear point of accountability for it. The work continues, but without centralized oversight, standards, coordination, and responsibility do not. I respectfully ask you to take a closer look at how these responsibilities
This does conclude your
will be managed
time.
moving forward.
And you can submit a comment to councilcommittee@sandiego.gov. Phone number ending in 8700. Please press *6 and begin.
Thank you, Natalie. Joy Sunyata. Dear public, I almost lost my positive budget spirit this afternoon when I spoke at budget meeting on vacancies. I got my spirit back when I saw the artwork of some of the City Heights youth speakers tonight. A beautiful green tree, a beautiful red heart, a beautiful blue butterfly. Dear public, please continue to help us decide what to keep and what to cut, and continue to answer the question, ask what you can do for your city. I am so inspired by all of you. A great day. Thanks for hanging in there. Love to all.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Kayla. Kayla, please unmute and begin. Kayla Appenzeller.
Hello, Oh, sorry for that. Hello, my name is Kayla Appenzeller, and I am a resident
Kayla,
of
can you
District
please
4.
unmute your TV?
I am coming to echo today what everybody has said so far, that our budget, our arts and libraries and parks do not deserve to be cut. San Diego has a unique problem where we have $1 million classrooms and teachers that are barely paid above minimum wage. We have beautiful, iconic parks that our citizens can't access without paying an exorbitant fee for parking now. We have gone so far, I've seen District 2 go after vendors and spend millions of dollars in lawsuits. This year, San Diego Police Department has spent $1 million paying out so far of wrongful death lawsuits.
Thank you.
Without
This does
accountability.
conclude your time. Thank you. Our next speaker is Maura. Maura, please unmute and begin.
Hi, I'm a constituent of District 3, born and raised in San Diego. I strongly oppose this budget because it reflects the wrong priorities for our city. We're choosing to spend a disproportionate amount of the budget on police while cutting or shrinking the very programs that actually make communities safer and stronger. Arts, libraries, parks, recreation, and services for children. I believe public safety begins with community. It begins when children have safe places to gather, when families have access to libraries and recreation, and when young people have creative outlets, and when neighborhoods are supported before problems become crises. I benefited from these services growing up, and they helped shape the person I am today. San Diego is strongest when we invest in the people and the programs that build belonging, stability, and opportunity. I urge you to reallocate funding to these services, which serve as the foundation of a safe and thriving city. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Catherine Douglas. Please unmute and begin.
Good evening. The city has found itself in a very difficult monetary position. We have a huge budget shortfall because we have a shortfall in both oversight and quality control throughout city departments. Thorough and effective oversight is missing. The revenue assigned to departments is clearly not being effectively maximized. Public safety is the #1 responsibility of government. It's what protects all the people walking to and from the libraries, the rec centers, their jobs, on our streets, and in our businesses. One department that is being run exceptionally well is SDPD. Chief Wall has saved money while increasing efficiency. Every department needs to follow his great example. Do not cut our public safety funding. The people who spoke in opposition to Flock tonight are clearly not up to speed on what that technology has solved.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Christine Martinez, please unmute and begin.
Hi, good evening. I'm Christine Martinez from Arts and Culture San Diego. I'm urging you to maintain the fiscal year 26 arts and culture funding in the fiscal year 27 budget. These cuts go too far. The proposed $11.8 million reduction would essentially eliminate the city's investment in arts and culture. Arts organizations are small businesses, employers, and community anchors. Many will not survive without this funding. In fact, I'm not in council chambers this evening because I was at a meeting of arts leaders, and we were talking about how if these cuts come through, 30 arts organizations will just cease to exist. Large organizations will take a cut and layoffs will happen, but these smaller organizations will not be able to come back online. Arts organizations support thousands of jobs and generate $1.8 billion in tourism annually. Please consider to stand with arts and culture community and keep funding stable for fiscal year 26.
Thank you. Our final speaker in the queue is Dee. Please unmute and begin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, council members. Thank you all for being here so late. My name is Dee. I'm a resident of District 3. and I'm here to urge you all to readjust the city budget that Todd Gloria has proposed. Continuing forward with this budget of equipping the police with more funding is moving forward with the agenda of this Trump regime that aims to strangle the community, exploit the migrant community, increase surveillance and policing, caging innocent grandparents, children, workers in these concentration camps that you call immigration detention centers. I urge you to start by defunding Flock. Give back the support to the libraries and the art communities. How did we go from less than 100 million in 2024 for a police budget to 700 million this year? Please zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What is the future that you are choosing for us? Please, I ask you to reevaluate the priorities and pave a future for a better community. Thank you, council members.
Thank you. And this concludes public comment on sub-item D.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the members of the public for participating. We will now go to council members for any concluding remarks. We will start with Council Member Elo Rivera.
All right. Thank you, Chair. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up today. I know that the folks who are still here are here to relay messages back to folks who you brought here today. And I just want to say thank you for incredible participation. We know that the budget that was presented was one that created a lot of fear and anxiety and anger and sadness. And despite that, folks showed up and shared their stories and shared why they have all those feelings. And that's certainly impactful to me. And so I appreciate everyone who showed up to share that. And I think, you know, it is like it is true every year when we vote on the budget, but this is all about choices, and I think there are fair questions being asked. It starts with the choices that have been made over time in terms of how the city is resourced and how it's not, who's asked to pay their fair share and who's not, and then the decisions that we're making with the resources that we have. The choice to prioritize surveilling communities over giving them safe spaces to play in, to learn in, to grow in, the choice to subsidize multi-billion-dollar corporate entities that depend on public services instead of funding arts and culture organizations, the choice to hoard resources in one part of the Park and Rec department instead of spread those across the city. Those are all choices that we're gonna have to wrestle with over the next few weeks. And I appreciate everyone who came here today to share their stories about why those choices are so important. And then, you know, over the course of this week and beyond, we're gonna have to roll up our sleeves and actually make those choices, because as easy as it is to say that we don't like what's in front of us, the decision points are going to be in front of us very soon, and we're going to have to make some choices. I'll pass it back to you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We will now go to Pro Tem Lee.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Chair, for leading this effort. Probably a more difficult one than even the first one you took last year. It feels like a bit of deja vu, because whether we've had good or bad budget years, these are the same conversations we continue to seem to have. And I think what's most frustrating to me is that if we know that that is the case, how we go into a budget, how we communicate with the public, how we frame things so that we don't repeat the same discussions year after year, it's deja vu. So I want to thank those members of the public for coming in time and time again, and for spending the entire evening with us. And I noticed that there were even individuals who were here today who did not necessarily speak, nor were they looking to speak, but just came in support of others who were here. And that does mean a lot, because we appreciate hearing from everyone. So thank you again.
Thank you for that. We will now go to Council Member Campillo.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to reiterate my thanks to the public for showing up, spending a lot of time and money to come down to City Hall. And I wanted to particularly thank the members of the public who live there in District 8, who brought up the simple need of a stop sign near their church on G and 24th, putting right in front of us the concrete human need for more public safety spending in the area of infrastructure, in the area of traffic support, things like that. And luckily, no one's been killed at that spot, but we can't say that about the rest of the city. So I thank them for bringing that up in a very, very concrete way.
Thank you for that. Council President, before we go to you, I understand Council Member Von Wilpert is online with her hand up. So we will pivot real quick and let our council member have a moment.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you to everybody who came in to comment today. And thank you to the IBA for all the great work you're doing to really break down the budget for everybody, including the council. You know, we've heard a lot from folks today, and we're still digging into the impacts to libraries and parks and recreation. I don't want any of them to close, of course. And we're also digging into the impacts to our infrastructure. You know, our roads, our storm drains. It's been really awful to see the cuts that we're having to consider, considering that the sales tax didn't pass this year. We also need to find a way to restore as much funding as possible for our arts and culture community. Not only does it create jobs, it creates a community and it helps with our tourism. So I really want to figure out how we can do that. In addition, I'm glad to see that we're considering cost-cutting measures by in-housing services that don't need to be provided by outside contracts. And we've seen it with our mill and pave team, with our street repair, that we're repairing street miles at a cheaper cost than we are by outsourcing it to contractors who are raising their prices left and right. Same thing with our storm drain repair teams. And now we've seen our general services department, for example, decide to in-house our maintenance of the Civic Center Plaza building, allowing us to save hundreds of thousands of dollars for city workers to do that same work. Of course, we need to value those city workers who are here and make sure that we do them and keep them and pay enough so that they will stay in the city of San Diego providing services and not leave for other jurisdictions. I also want to thank all the folks from the LGBTQ community who came in to comment for the need for the city to continue partnership with the use of our opioid settlement funds to partner to provide substance use treatment to folks in our communities who are suffering. You know, nationwide, there was actually some good news about mental health last week around youth suicides finally reducing in our nation, most sharply in areas that are highly utilizing the 988 crisis phone line, the national new phone line you can call if you're in crisis. But under the administration of Donald Trump, the national 988 National Suicide Crisis Lifeline was instructed to stop providing tailored support options for LGBTQ plus youth in 2025. In fact, it was option 3 when you call the phone tree, and that was ordered to be taken off the national line because Donald Trump has been attacking the LGBTQ community. So we need to step up and do our part to help here in San Diego. I also believe that we can and we must restore the climate equity funding in our CIP program. We do not need to eliminate that from our budget. So I look forward to continuing these really hard conversations with my colleagues, with the IBA, with the mayor's office, with our city staff, and with the public. So thank you very much for coming in tonight, and we'll continue our budget hearings. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Council Member Von Wilpert. We will now go to Council President LaCava.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be brief. I just want to thank everybody that took the time to show up in chambers. I think it was Council President Pro Tem that kind of talked about those who showed up to support others. Seating time really makes it more effective and you get a better message across. So thank you to your friends and colleagues that joined you today, those who participated remotely, and to the intrepid 10 that are still here at 10 o'clock at night. Well done. This is just the beginning, as everybody said, about the budget conversation. This input is very valuable. I took notes on every single speaker here, and we'll digest that with my staff, and we'll figure out where we go. So I'll close there. Thank you, Chair, for the good first day here. I think we're going to survive, but thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Just in closing, I'm just going to reference my predecessor. And my predecessor would often say on this dais, should we use the term, the tale of two cities? And I just truly do believe that. And I think it's very, very unfortunate. And it's something that we need to change. And I think it's one of the reasons that keeps me going and coming back every day. I agree, Pro Tem, this is deja vu. No matter the budget condition, we do seem to be having the same repetitive conversation. And so it's something that we do need to fix. We will continue to work. We will continue to put our best foot forward. Please don't stop coming. Please keep coming. Your voices are important. And just thank you for coming out. With that, we will now take up.
Chair, may I just very quickly just say thank you to Natalie, Sarah, and Ty. They've been here since before we got here, holding this all down. I want to make sure that in this conversation about staff that's unnecessary, and these are folks who make all this work, and I just want to say thank you.
Very good. We're not done. With that, we will now take up non-agenda public comment. The council members respect and appreciate the public's input and are fully committed to protecting every participant's free speech rights at council and committee meetings. Natalie, please proceed with non-agenda public comment.
Per Rule 2.7, non-agenda public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on items that are not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the committee. Each speaker will have 2 minutes, and if you're watching on City TV or the live stream online and would like to call in for non-agenda public comment, please call 1-669-254-5252. The webinar ID is 160-332-6900#. And we've received 7 speaker slips from individuals here in chambers. If they're still here, please come to the front of the room. Mary Soriano, Kenya Parasa, Ashton Woods, John Moore, Anthony Ralphs, Blair Beekman, and Samantha. So Mary Soriano, please approach the lectern.
Mary Soriano, President of La Jolla Town Council. Is the mayor and city council members looking to charge San Diegans a special assessment or higher taxes? That seems to be implied when completely eliminating the city's reserves, placing the city in jeopardy and a flood of lawsuits. SB 79, Abundant and Affordable Homes Near Transit Act, Ministerial, no public input, no need for CEQA, no parking required, placed into the Coastal Commission, dangerously leads to overriding local jurisdiction. Encanto, Claremont, Mira Mesa, coastal communities, every town in San Diego is concerned about the lack or neglected existing infrastructure to support it. You may not be sitting in your council seat when these transit development housing suffocate infrastructure, but you too will be affected. Thank you.
Thank you. Blair Beekman, and you'll be followed by Samantha, and then I'll do another call of the names of the other individuals.
Hi, Blair Beekman. Thanks for a long meeting today. Thanks for the words of Kent Lee. I think he offered some really good insights to try to talk clearly about our budget and how we can be developing a better language for it, I think, this time around. Good luck how we can do that. I've learned some information that you actually are working on flock issues at this time, and you are taking the advice of Oakland and Alameda County, where Oakland is in. They have been really planning on how to leave flock. I don't know if they're fully there. They want to do a compromise process over months and involve the community, dialogue, and really figure out what are best choices besides the future of flock for a vendor. I think that's really interesting, and good luck what San Diego can learn from that coming up. We are considering how to leave things all together. Good luck in those efforts as well. All of this is based on concepts that we're basically at a world war right now, and we're still talking about peace here. We're talking about best practices. And those practices are going to simply give great examples to Israel, to Iran, to Lebanon, and to the US. And I'm really hopeful what it'll present to them, what we're doing well. We're not sitting in fear anymore, like from the days of 9/11, where we couldn't talk about these things. Everything was kept secretive. We're now really working at the local level towards peace and best practices that bring peace. So we're doing something really good. I thank you. I can't thank you enough for that effort, that we can actually be talking about best practices in times of war. And those examples simply create peace and gives great examples to everyone. So good luck in these continued efforts that we build best practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha Castronovo, please approach the lectern.
Hi, I'm Samantha Castronovo, and thank you for staying here so late and listening. I very much appreciate it. And I also want to say your staff has been incredible, your support staff and your clerks, in making sure everyone got to speak and any support they needed throughout the evening. So thank you. And I wanted to also just mention City of San Diego Fire and Rescue again. And maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I strongly recommend, if you're able to, add a scanner app to your